I'm getting ready to go.
How's that sound?
Sounds good. We're live.
Sweet.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. What?
We have a Plain Truth or Red Hen Radio. The Plain Truth.
Don't get me
I
mixed up with Jamie.
apologize. I
That's all right,
know.
I don't want all his traffic going over there, all my traffic going over to him. So
Understandable. My apologies. Then we have A. McKinsey,
What's up?
aka the landlord. Yeah, just trying out this hangout thing for the first time. Never done this before, so please have a little bit of patience.
Good luck. Yeah. Not many people have that these days.
Getting the hang of it though. Let's see, what are we doing now?
No, I think it's working out perfect so far. I'm surprised you could hear, or Travis could hear you when you had him over the speakers. Usually people hear an echo.
I think that's, like I said before, I think that's when you have two windows open.
True, yeah. Oh, yeah, because last time I think Zach had the watch page open too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might need to just go get the smaller gauge hemp or learn how to start sewing these in. I don't know if this is going to work this way. Being the same gauge hemp. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. After I've tried it a little bit, we'll see what happens. So how is everybody's Saturday going so far?
It's been a beautiful day here where I'm at.
I know it got warm today. It was up over 80.
It's crazy. In the 30s, like a little over a week ago.
And this isn't normal weather, is it?
No. This is way warmer. I think we're like 15 degrees above average today, according to, our local mainstream never tell a lie news.
I can't find the chat page for some reason. Still fairly new to this. Let's see. I'll go to this one and just click on it and see what happens. It's saying live stream offline, stream live 36 minutes ago, but I know that's not true. I'm going to go to this and click on it and see what happens. Yeah, this isn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. Well, what am I doing here? I'm going to go to this and click on it and see what happens. Well, we're going to have to pause that.
Yeah, your YouTube page is open. You got a live stream going.
I know I can't get to the chat. There we go.
Oh, the YouTube chat?
Yeah, I finally found it.
Yeah, you've got to pull up that page itself. Right?
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Candy out there, David, Anthony, Dave. Welcome, everybody. Rob, how you all doing? Verdad. I'm not even going to attempt the rest of that. I apologize. There's letters in there I wouldn't even know how to pronounce. Awesome. 47 yesterday. Oh, Anthony, I don't know if you heard, but I'm gonna get to start making CBD oil for mass quantities of people over in Eastern Europe. I was offered a job, and I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna move over there and get to make huge amounts of medicine. I'm so excited. It's like a dream come true. All because I chose to go on my walkabout when I did. Ran into a guy.
This is where we cue the police song Synchronicity.
Yeah, isn't it?
I think I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. I think it's going to work out for you.
Yeah, I think so too. With if anything, it'll be a cool story. I mean, I've never even been to Europe, so this would be. It's just going to be a really neat opportunity, I think. See a part of the world, that probably not too many people actually go to. I don't know if it's a vacation spot or anything like that. I have an older brother who's been in the military most of his life. He's retired now, but he said it's gorgeous over there. It's Hey, John Savage is in the chat. Savage.
That's my favorite. That's like my favorite soundbite. I love it when that Savage comes out on the IRM. Savage. Was that done for him, or was that just pirated from someplace else?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if where that came from. I'll have to ask.
Yeah, you'll have to. There's a really good story written by Jonathan Kellerman on the Golem. I don't know if you know about the Golem outside of the J.R.R. Tolkien trilogy series, but the Golem is a Jewish mythical creature, and so there's two stories that Jonathan Kellerman wrote. One was the Golem of Hollywood, and then I think the other one was the Golem of, I want to say Paris, but it has a lot of backstory in Eastern Europe because that's where it began with a Jewish community in Eastern Europe. But I really recommend you check it out. You can either listen to it for free from your local library, or if you wanted to read it yourself. It's a really, really good two parts novel.
What's his name?
Jonathan Kellerman.
Kellerman. I've heard that before. Maybe it's not the same person, but I've heard that last name before, Kellerman. My mom's a big reader.
Yeah, he does. He's one of my go-to authors when he's got a new book out. He's got a character called Alex Delaware, and he's a child psychologist in LA, but then he gets consulted by the LA Police Department for certain crimes. Pretty good stuff. I've blown through the whole series though in my trucking hours on the road.
Do you ever just put a movie in and listen to it?
No, that's too abstract for me because a lot of the cinematography is a part of the story. So it's not like just listening to an audiobook where you can imagine the scenery. A movie is just a completely different animal. So, I mean, I suppose that I could get away with it by listening to it, but I think that I would almost want to be drawn into it because it is a movie. It's like psychological. I know it's a movie, so I have to watch it. But, yeah. There's a lot of good movie or book series that are out there. Really good ones. Highly recommend them. If you're interested, I can let you know about them.
I read the Hannibal Lecter.
Oh yeah, I started the Red Dragon, and I don't know, maybe I don't know why I stopped. Did you like it?
I loved it up until the very last book.
Huh.
And then it was just the stupidest thing that I had.
Really?
It turned me off of reading
I
like anything anymore.
am very impressed. I'm not a big horror guy, so there's certain things about Stephen King that don't appeal to me. But um, his time travel story, short story on JFK. I think it's the date, 11/22/63 or something. I think that's the name of the book. That was absolutely fantastic. It was so good, and then James Franco did a movie version of it, and I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes. I stopped watching it. It was absolutely atrocious. But The Shining, dude, The Shining is such a good book. So good. Oh my word. So good. Yeah, I can't even. The psychological profiling that Stephen King does at that point in his life, I was just like, how the hell did he even have the depth of perception to write this way? It's just amazing.
Yeah, Stephen King. My mom used to love him, and then she read it, I think, and that was the one that turned her off.
Huh.
Yeah,
That
because
would
he
be
is a good writer, but he's just weird. He
that would
is.
be yeah, but that would be interesting. Why would it, like, if she read Pet Cemetery, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, what about it? Why did that push you over the edge? Cujo didn't do it for you, Christine. You know what I mean? Be like, yeah, there was one thing about it. It was creepy though as a book. It was actually quite uh, terrifying. It was very vivid. That whole clown thing with Georgie. Well, Tommyknockers was a good book. I remember reading that. I think that was actually. I might have read Cujo first. I think Tommyknockers was my first Stephen King book that I think I actually finished. I enjoyed it.
I haven't read anything fiction in a long time now.
I highly recommend the Jack Reacher series, the Lee Child Jack Reacher series, the one that Tom Cruise has done 2 movies for, but I don't recommend the movies. I recommend the books.
I enjoyed the first one. The second one, not so much.
You mean the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even see. The problem is that Jack Reacher is built like a truck. He's 6'4" and full of muscle, and it's just so diametrically opposed to everything Tom Cruise is. You know, seriously. I mean, just like, I don't even know. But the books themselves are really, really well written. Lee Child's a fantastic writer. And then 2001. Have you read 2001: Space Odyssey?
Nope.
That is absolutely a must. You've got to read Space Odyssey 2001, and then read A Wrinkle in Time, and then watch Interstellar, the movie.
Oh, it's so hard for me to bring myself to even watch any of those movies anymore. I don't know what it is. I get mad. I just get.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Luke Skywalker when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I was 35, I wanted to be Luke Skywalker still.
All right. So, have you looked into the Mandela Effect at all? What's going on with a lot of that stuff? Like,
I mean, I'm aware of it, of course, but I've never really looked too deeply into the whole topic.
yeah, there's a flat Earth news guy called Brian Stavely. I don't know if you've heard of him yet. Brian Stavely.
No.
He's got a YouTube channel under his name, I think, but then he's also got therealnewsonline.com. but he's been doing a lot of Mandela Effect stuff, and a lot of it I actually disagree with because I remember it the way that it is. You know, he says it was this way, but now it's this way, and I'm thinking, no, that's the way it's always been. But for some reason, he thinks. Okay, I'm going to ask you this. Okay, spell the word dilemma.
Dilema, maybe 2 L's. Dillema.
Okay, he says that he remembers there being an N, a silent N. Dilemma. Dilemma. Yeah, I know. But he will swear on it. He actually said it today on his show. He said it again today. I'm just like, I am not going to get into an argument with you, but you're wrong. You know, there's no way dilemma had an N in it. But one of his things that he brought up for the Mandela Effect with The Empire Strikes Back was where Luke is about to fall down that chute where he gets, you know, he had just gotten his hand chopped off, and he comes to the realization that Darth Vader is his father. So there's this thread of people who think they remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," and now it's supposed to be, "No, I am your father." So the no and the Luke are switched. So he thinks that it used to be, "Luke, I am your father."
See, I remember it as "No, I am your father."
Yeah, that's what I remember too.
He's like, "You killed my father." It's like, "No."
No.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's certain things about Mandela, but I think the majority of it is just misheard lyrics kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
That's what you. So.
Misremember, or I mean, it could be people messing with people. Who knows?
It's just something to keep us divided and arguing about shit.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's real. Okay.
I still wonder why the flat Earth was released the way it was and allowed to. Maybe all this history being, you know, a big giant story, like pretty much all of it.
Well, you think about this. I talked to someone this week, and they had no clue there was a flat Earth movement. No clue.
Wow.
So you've got people still that were like me a year and a half ago. All right. So the day before, I had no clue. And it had been out for 2 years, you know? So it's like, I'm talking to somebody and I'm talking about flat Earth, and there's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I haven't sure about this whole movement, this whole huge questioning of the scientific model they're like, no. It just goes to show what people, you know, aren't watching. You know, all the stuff that I had I mean, I think before Flat Earth, I knew that YouTube was there, but I didn't use it. And when I did, it was always for what my kids were watching, like bad lip reading, you know, which is really funny, but that's all I did. But after the Flat Earth, man, I just started I'm like, holy cow, this is a cornucopia of knowledge.
Yeah, it's going very nice and slow, just how I would like it to go. I mean, in all actuality, I wouldn't want everybody waking up all at once. I think anger is one of the feelings that I had, at least. I was very upset with NASA, really. I was like a NASA fanboy. And when they came out not came out, but when I realized that, I mean, I never really did buy the whole moon thing. You know, I never really bought into the whole, we landed on the moon. I remember when I went and saw the lunar module when I was like 8.5, 9 years old, something like that. I remember looking at it and being like, okay, well, where's the real one now? Because there's no way that thing landed anywhere and did anything. And I was just a kid, and I could tell that. And my dad was like, "No, that's it right there. Go, okay." But I mean, deep down inside, I knew back then. And then I grew up, and I realized that the government was lying about so much stuff that when I came back around to questioning the moon landing, it wasn't even a question anymore. Once you see that stuff, I mean, you have to really put your blinders on to not realize that it was all fake, especially now with the 1080p and all these 4K resolution to pick out all the wires and everything. I don't know. I don't think they were thinking about something like the internet back then. You know what I mean? I don't think they ever thought that there'd be people sitting watching frame by frame, like Bling Bling. The people who are doing the ISS stuff, they got to hate that woman.
Well, I mean, that's interesting too, because if you think about the long game that is being played in other areas, and I can't remember who I was listening to who said that I think it was Crow. I think it was Crow who said he referred to the author of Dune. His name is escaping me right now, but Dune was written back in 1965, and according to Crow, he suggests that the predictive programming was regarding the access to AI and computers in people's lives, and he was like, how in the world could he have figured this out? His descriptions are just too close to the mark. So you've got somebody who either knew the long game, or as Crow suggests, he just simply deduced it. He just inferred it from where he understood, technology to be going. So your point is an interesting one. Of course they would not have the foresight to anticipate someone could do a frame by frame analysis and catch them out. But on the other hand, they are so detailed in their long game in other areas that it would almost seem nonsensical that they would have missed that. So it's almost like
Frank Herbert, the author.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rune. Yeah, my mom loved those books too. She was a big fan of Rune or Dune. Rune.
But your point, your point's well taken.
Movie person.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, I suppose. I think art is a viable expression of truth, and movies are just an aspect of that. I mean, the one thing that I go back to, that I actually use in conversations with people, is that scene at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark where they box up the Ark of the Covenant and then they haul it away into the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, oh yeah, I remember that scene. And I say they are showing you what they do.
Exactly.
They're not just showing you the end of the movie and you're like, oh wow, look at, they're just hiding, they're just putting it away. Isn't that crazy? Okay, what are we gonna do next after the movie? No. They're showing you. They have a lot of shit that you have no idea about, and they just told you what they do with it.
Sticks
And
it in a
people are
box
like,
with a number on it and throw it away.
People are like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess my point was just in terms of the expression of art, the expression of truth in art, whatever that art, whatever the medium is.
And I think some artists or some, what would you call them? The directors I really love Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
I love the way he, and not even the bouncing around that he did in some of them, but just
You
the
mean
angle.
do you mean the disconnectedness in terms of the scenes that bouncing around? Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Right.
but just the camera angles and stuff like that that he gets, and he does it a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. They're artists, full blown. You know. Yep.
Because I love a lot of B movies where it's usually it's just shot from the side, this and that, you know. But when you watch a Quentin Tarantino movie, it's like you're getting into the movie almost. The
Yeah.
close-ups are just the eyes or just the mouth or so many different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It is. It's an art form.
And it's different than the Clint Eastwood spaghetti western where they get up on the eye and the mouth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not the same.
Don't get me wrong. I loved a lot of those
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
I I listened to that Crow episode, that 140. That was excellent. That guy really knew what he was talking about when it came to alchemy.
Yeah. Yeah. Such good stuff. Yeah. If I could reset my life, man. Oh my word.
Yeah, you can. It's never too late to
I
start.
know. I know. I know.
You
But
know.
it's what I mean in terms of time.
Oh, I
So
know.
I mean, restarting now, I would have to not do anything else but research because there's just so much.
Well, that's the thing about alchemy is there is no end. There is no, it's a lifelong process and it lasts as long as your life does. It's not like you're trying to get to a certain end.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
ever transforming
Yeah.
yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been practicing alchemy as much. Well, I've still been learning, but not practicing like I was. I am burning a lot of roots and a lot of old dry dead leaves and stuff like that. I've covered the garden with a bunch of old dry leaves. Stuff is great food.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I always disagreed with my ex-wife on. And I was like, look, I know that you don't like leaves in the yard, but that's what they're there for.
Yeah, that stuff is. My
That's what
aunt
they're
used to
there
make
for.
fun of people from the city that bagged up their leaves and took them out to the road.
Yeah.
She's like, those people are all idiots. That is the best stuff that you can have on the ground, not just for the leaves, but for the trees themselves,
Right. Yeah.
because they get a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
back.
It's recycling itself.
Well, now what's
It's
better? Would it be better to burn the leaves and use the ash, or would it be better to just let the leaves decompose?
It depends on what kind of leaves they are, really. The really high in acid leaves, leaves that aren't going to break up and deteriorate quickly, I would burn those. Let them dry out and burn them, like oak leaves or those big, giant, green looking plastic leaves. What kind of tree
Yeah.
is that?
I thought it was a banyan tree, but I was wrong. I'm not sure.
Not a band. It's some kind. I need to learn about the trees down here. Totally different than any place I've ever really been. Um, but yeah, just it depends on the leaf. Maple leaves are great to bury. They decompose quickly and break down real quick. Any leaf that dries out and crumbles real easy. Okay, Bubba, settle down, babe. Um, those are the ones I like to put in the ground of the garden. And then anything that might have a high acid content, like your pine needles. Of course, you don't want to bury a lot of pine needles. Really high in acid, but you can burn them.
Yeah.
And then take because the ash is pretty much just like the pure crystalline form, like the salt.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never, until I met you, I've always taken all my fire pit ash and just thrown it over in the corner of the yard somewhere. Never really put two and two together.
Yeah, it's alchemy. Um, you know, like nature will start a fire, and
Yeah.
it'll burn down a lot of the forest, but that's actually like good for the forest. You know, it helps the forest somewhat with new growth and things like that, and thinning out old trees, old dead trees, and okay, Bubba,
Yeah.
what? The door's open, man. You got water, you got food. I don't know.
We had a pretty dry, bad wildfire season 5 or 6 years ago, and a good portion of the Everglades burned down. Like, I think that next summer, it was already pretty much back to life. It had all already came back. I mean, all the bigger trees were gone, but like for all the palm fronds and the little palms, they grow really fast. They're like weeds.
I couldn't believe how well palm trees burned.
Yeah, they ignite, kind of like the ferns do. Like once you burn through the skin of the leaf, it just goes up on you. Good fuel.
Yeah, the acetate crystals. You get that nice white ash. And what I do, I like to put that in my compost pile. A lot of my ashes. I mean, you can spread it. A lot of people will spread it right back over their grass. It's great for your grass. And collect some rainwater if you can.
Yeah, I gotta. Oh, maybe that's what we can order from Amazon.
There you go.
I got that gift card, so we'll get another 500-gallon tank. Set it up somewhere to catch rainwater.
Yeah, you got to watch out. A lot of states, they say that's illegal.
Oh
Trapping
yeah,
rainwater and things like
it's
that.
it's same here. I mean, we live in the Sunshine State. God forbid you set up a solar panel. They come out and they're like, "Oh, sir, is that a solar panel? Yeah, is that tied into the grid? Put your hands behind your back." What the fuck?
Yeah, I heard Florida now, they don't even want you to, you
They
can't buy
don't play.
land and build a structure without being hooked up to the grid.
Nope. You sure can't. According to all the political parasites, you can't. That's not saying that people aren't doing it.
Yeah, true. Well, out west,
Oh man, wait till we go to.
they're looking for property. And they were saying unless you had electricity and sewage and all that kind of stuff hooked up to something, that you weren't allowed to stay on your own property for more than 2 weeks. So if you wanted to go and camp out there for 2 months or something like that, you weren't allowed to do that. You could only stay 2 weeks at a time on your own property.
Yeah, but it all comes back to metering and controlling. You know, if it wasn't, if if they can't meter it, they can't charge you for it. Well, that pretty much destroys their whole fiat currency.
That's the thing. Once we get rid of money, the whole idea, the whole concept of money. Now, you know me, I'm not a religious person or anything like that. Um, but I have read a lot of the, different things that they say was said by certain individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Lord's Prayer, supposedly that Jesus said and was heard by, I think, Matthew and Luke, I think were the two that have it written down in their different books.
I don't know.
And
Where's
these are,
Jack?
Yeah, where is that? But I mean,
Yeah,
we've all
you're right.
heard,
It's both Matthew and Luke.
but we've all heard this prayer, but I don't know how many people actually know the actual prayers that are actually written in the Bible. It's changed every type of church that I've gone to. None of them use the proper words. They use the word trespasses.
Hmm.
Forgive us our trespasses and let our or, as we forgive those who trespass against us. That is not written in either of the versions, Matthew or Luke. And the words that he uses is forgive us our sins as we forgive those indebted to us. In one of the versions, I believe that's Matthew. And then Luke's version is forgive us our debts as we forgive those indebted to us. So in all reality, did they even want money to be around? Should there be anything known as a debt? That's all money is a debt.
Yeah, but my background that I'll just pipe up and make a comment on is that terminology is not a monetary reference. It's in reference to the construct that God placed Israel under. So any violation of His standard of law. So one of the one of the sin offerings in the Old Testament was called a trespass offering. So the problem that we have when we discuss this is that we're talking about English coming from the Hebrew. So the word trespass simply, if we were just going to be satisfied with a basic description of what a trespass is, it's going where you don't belong, right? So one of the ways that we as Christians describe our sinning against God, that is that we do what He says not to do, and we don't do what He says to do. Those are two different sins. Those are two different categories. So if we do what He says not to do, that's a trespass. That's why you have a sign up that says no trespassing. If you go over the fence, you're doing what you shouldn't be doing. So my only statement, I guess, ultimately to go back is that the Lord's Prayer has nothing to do with a monetary system. It has to do with a societal obligation to each other. That is, we want God to be merciful to us when we transgress, when we sin against, and then God says, okay, if that's what you want from me, go thou and do likewise. That is, you are merciful and compassionate to those who have offended you. So it's more societal and cultural than, I would say, fiscal.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents.
But don't you think it's odd that it's not said how it is in the book?
Well, the only thing that I can say is that um, I don't remember if the King James uses trespass or debt. Um, so
It uses debt.
okay,
Yeah, that was someone gave me a King James Bible,
yeah.
and
So
that
I,
was the
I
one
would
that I did a lot of looking through.
I would have to look up the Greek term and just look at it. But again, whatever term in English you want to use to express the Greek, the idea is basically that we owe God our fidelity to His character, right? So He is our creator, therefore we have an obligation to Him um, to remain faithful to His character. That then likewise is expressed in society with each other. So it's a trickle down effect, so to speak. So the way that the Old Testament structure was set up was that if you let's say I borrowed something from you and I lost it, then I would actually have to pay it back twice to you. And so I'm indebted to you because of an obligation that I had with your property. And so that is one of the ideas as well in terms of a person's relationship with God under the Old Testament system, was that they are obligated to honor the character of God in such a way so that if they infringe upon that standard, they have to make reparation. So that's what it means to be indebted. That is, that you owe a balancing of the books, so to speak, even though that is a monetary analogy. But so I wouldn't necessarily quibble over the difference between trespass and debt. That just becomes an issue of I think a colloquialism, or a colloquialism, depending on when it was written.
Very well.
But I'm geeking out, so you're touching on my field of expertise, so to
Yeah,
speak.
I know. Yeah, we need to get one of these days.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack. I could listen to you two talk about stuff for hours. I bet.
He's been wanting to do a hangout for a while now, so yeah, we got to
he
do
just
that.
sent a message that he can't do it right now.
Yeah, but the one thing that I've jumped on because we're in the Christmas season, excuse me, is that I've done 4 episodes where I discuss the Christian background to Christmas, as opposed to whether or not certain people think that it has pagan roots or pagan associations or whatnot. So that was Jack had made a comment, I think it may be my second episode. So I don't think he's made a comment back. I responded to him in the 3rd episode and let him know about that. So I'm looking forward to his response if he ever chooses to do so. But that's been a fun little exercise. I think I've tried to keep the episodes to around 30 minutes.
Yeah, I need to catch up. I've been watching mostly live stuff lately. A lot of Pancho Pete. Just while working in the garden and stuff like that. Did a little bit more welding. It really is an art form. It's so cool. I'm just starting to understand it a little bit better and seeing how it works a little bit more. I've been watching a little bit of it on YouTube here too. But it's neat. It's a fun thing to do. It really is, taking 2 pieces of metal and making them one.
Yeah, we'll have to show off your first weld.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
No, it was actually really good.
Yeah, it was it's neat. It's weird though. It's amazing how easy it is to just blow right through thick metal like that. It doesn't take much. You can really it's an
electrical fusion.
Yeah, and that's MIG welding we're doing, correct?
Yeah, flux core MIG.
Flux core MIG. Yeah, cool stuff. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Maybe tomorrow we'll go get some manure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the garden will be ready to roll. When we put the potatoes in, we can plant the seeds. And I'll show you how to do all that stuff. Well, we'll talk about that later. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My dad said whenever we're ready to just head on out there.
Cool.
So we're good.
Yeah, I think I'll try to have a garden for the rest of my life, no matter where I am. If I have to have it on a roof grown in buckets or something like that. I'll always have a garden.
Yeah, and it seems to be one of those. Remember, I was telling you about automatic transmissions, how everybody's scared of the red fluid, and
Oh
I
yeah.
used to be too. But then once I did one, I was shaking my head like, why have I waited this long? You know? And I feel like I'm the same thing with gardening. You know, I'm sitting out here watching you and listening to all your methods, and I'm just kind of like, man, what have I been waiting on? You know, it's everybody. I don't understand why everybody doesn't look into it, because it's a life-changing thing too for the whole family, and it's financially, medically, all I mean, changes everything big time. Plus, it makes your yard look good.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a great way to spend time with your family, having a garden. You know, it's a good, healthy exercise type thing. It really is like yoga almost. Once all the plants are out there and you don't want to step on one and this and that, and you have to step in, it's like playing Twister almost.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, just Addison being able to see everything and how it works, where food comes from. There's not many young kids out in the world that even give a shit, you know, or she wakes up in the morning, she's like, Dad, I want to go play in the garden. I'm like, go for it. Go get dirty.
Yeah, she's gonna, and that's the coolest part about little kids her age, right around 4, 5, 3 even. They're sponges. Even if they don't seem like they're paying attention to you, it's like their subconscious just soaks everything up.
Yeah.
So that's why I just keep telling her stuff. Even if she's off playing in her sandbox type, playing with her shovel and her little bucket.
Yeah, she's listening.
Yeah, oh yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy.
knowing how to grow your food is so important. Hey, there he is. How you doing, Anthony?
Uh-oh.
Welcome, friend. I don't know if we have a...
I don't think that's
Hey.
us. How you doing?
Hey, Anthony.
I like that name.
Yeah, great guy. He's the one I keep telling you about.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Food is
Hey guys,
medicine.
pick that up. Come on, we're gonna clean that up there. Yes, come on.
Yeah, he's one of my heroes.
Well, pleasure to meet you.
Sorry about that, guys. Was I not muted? Sorry about that. Bloody noise in the background.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all, Anthony. I love hearing children playing. You know, that's...
Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, mate, you know, like my children are homeschooled here, so they're just free as a bird, mate.
That is awesome.
Yep. They know no other teacher other than who they came out from, their mom.
There you go.
Huh?
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be, brother. Yeah, you know, that's why we have such how would you say, children that don't have responsibility.
Yeah, we live in a world of entitlement, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, most definite. Because not only that, but it's no responsibilities because the parents haven't had responsibility on the children they send to the school. So
Yeah.
just the makeup of the nature of a child. Well, if your offspring send you off somewhere else to be educated, well, it really says not a lot about your parents.
Absolutely. I agree
You
with you
know,
100% there.
yeah, and that's why society's falling, brother.
I know.
Yep. It
Adam's
has to,
actually
man. It
trying
has
to...
to fall. It has to fall and burn.
I'm ready to go to war, so.
Yeah, you know what?
That's...
To tell the honest truth, I think Mother Nature's got that all worked out.
I can't deal. Like today, we were sitting out just watching, because I have like some rabbit ear antennas, so we cut our cable a while back. But I like to tune into the local news and see what they're spewing.
Yep.
And
Wise.
today it was just like 6 straight hours of like exploration, outer space, and all this bullshit. Just straight
Yep.
up, you want to be an astronaut? Oh, come on over and go to our Mars program. It's like, fuck, man. These people really think they're going to Mars.
Dude, I'm telling you,
They're
yeah, it's food for the evil, mate. Because if you told a group of parents, you just put it this way: if I had put an announcement on TV that I need 15,000 children that are going to be taught to go to Mars, how many parents would give up their children?
Millions.
Millions, mate.
easily.
And you know what? They've trained us to obey anybody that's an authority white coat. I mean, it's really interesting, man.
It is. It
It's
is
to
a
the point
very
where you
interesting.
could just go buy a white coat and put it on and stand out there, and there will be people that will listen to what you say.
Absolutely.
That
Yes.
goes that
Yep.
goes for any trade too. Doesn't matter if
Top.
you're a doctor, a mechanic.
A butcher.
Yeah, you put a shirt and sit in front of an AutoZone. See how many people come running up to you.
Yep. It's very true, man. It's really interesting about the color of white. You know, it's trickery again.
Yeah.
Waving
Yeah,
the white flag, you know?
we've been brainwashed into, yeah, oh yeah, white is peaceful.
Yeah. But you know what? You know, the more, you know, it's really interesting because, again, it's taken me a good 10 years to really purge myself of a majority of the brainwashing. I'm probably 30-40% there, but it's taken 10 years to take everything out of my brain to, you know, to have my own common thought. Because, you know, when you sit quietly, um, whose words are you using to make common sense of reality? And what are you pulling from what you've been taught by liars as your reality? So really, when you think about it, anybody trying to determine where they live through what you've been taught is really a lie. So, you know, it's taken me 10 years to find out the skullduggery all the way from my sweet parents, which were really left of center. They never really obeyed anybody's law. But mate, I'm telling you, you just imagine, I just can't even imagine what it is like to be brought into a family that have been controlled by a society, and I mean that's hell, man.
I don't consider it a sin when you're not obeying the opinion of a political puppet.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
all it's basically at the end of the day, I live by the moral code.
Yeah.
You know,
Moral code. Yeah.
do to others as you would want done to yourself, and we'll get along just fine.
Yep. Yep.
Other than that, I don't know what else to do.
It's just we need more people to. We don't have to break any laws. We just have to not obey certain laws.
Oh yeah,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean?
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. It's not breaking any law. I think it's just asking, why is the law put there in place? Who placed it
Yeah,
there?
just because a
And
law is a
why
law
was it
doesn't make
placed
it
there?
moral.
Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, man, it is, you know, it's exciting times, man. I don't know where it goes. I know life goes on, but regardless what happens, and boy, oh boy, man, it's so clean and clear as the day and the moon, you know, that there is evil and good. I just see it so goddamn clear. It's just like they both live coexistence side by side. It's this. The one needs the other. I know it sounds really fucking stupid,
No, I
but
agree with you.
I believe this is the way it's always been.
Think of a car battery. You know, you got to have both polarities, or else you don't have a circuit.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's what keeps people in check and have morality. And for those that don't, and on the other side of things, is it's just like anything. I think our morality keeps those evil folks evil, because they can't stand the sight of you. And I know it sounds so stupid, and I couldn't even understand that mindset. But hey, shit, it's horses for courses, mate. You know, it's crazy. I just need to know who are the snakes. That's what I'm looking out for. You know, I've been in this community for 2 years, and I am not shocked what I've seen and found out in the last 2 years about, you know, the people that you always give tenets to and listen to, that you know that there's something strange about this person, and you're never ever proven wrong. I mean, this community is boy oh boy, mate. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good folk coming out bringing great information, and those are trying to dirty the muddy the water. I mean, there's some great stuff coming out, guys. I mean, common sense stuff.
It's super exciting times.
It is.
And I love how much I've learned to think differently.
Beautiful. It's like a breath of fresh air, man. You know, it's like no one's feeding me my air.
Yeah. It's like being a kid again, almost. It's like going back to learning those first few things that you learned in school again.
Yes. And that happens at 50, dude.
That's awesome.
No, it does. See, they fucking lied to us. If you look at the way the body's structured, it's meant to do what it's do up until a half century. Everything's all timed out in quarters. And after the second quarter, dude, you know, you've had your offspring. You've learnt all you've learnt in those many 40, 50 years, and you teach your offspring about the fucking things you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, passing down the knowledge.
That's it, man. And then the next 50 years is you go and explore your body. What rings you? What rings your mind, your body for the next 50 goddamn years or more? You know, they've just bloody lied to us, these bastards. They really have.
Yeah, they've stolen away our time.
Oh, most definite, my friend. They're trying to keep it really busy. It's like 2001 Odyssey. I don't know if you really understand. See, everything's a playbook that's been pre-written. The iPhone was already thought of back in the 80s, and then you bring, you know, if you look at the Odyssey, and it's really interesting. The first time the 2001 Odyssey come up, you look at the dimensions of that square oblique. It's definitely an iPhone, man. You know, the way they structure it and the way that this thing is of all knowledge. I mean, if you look at the apple, just the symbology behind that square, thin. I mean, if you've never watched Odyssey 2000, just watch the first one, man. I mean, it's gonna really trip your ass out, and just think out of the box about the technology we have today, and about the way they employ certain descriptions, because it's all symbols. And if you look at that symbol sitting there when the first monkeys go up to that fucking thing, I'm telling you, man, they're doing a number on humanity right there. I mean, wow, man, it's clean and clear. These bastards, how many films have they done this in?
Yeah, oh yeah. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, how they tell us what they're doing and how they even do it. They give us their playbook in plain sight.
Oh, they do.
Movies, and music, and television, all that kind of stuff.
But have you seen? And you're so right. Have you seen when they put all those square things together? They make another sun. I mean, the symbology. I mean, wow. I mean, wow. I mean, oh my God, this is where they're taking us all. Yeah.
They're sure trying.
They're trying. Yeah. Yeah, man. They're trying. It's like yourself and myself and a lot of us that are floating to the surface. It's just, man, I can't blend with oil. I can't. You know, my makeup is it. It is what it is. You know, you try and play in another substance and you just can't. It's like swimming in hot water, mate. It's not your realm.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be there.
No, no, it's just really interesting, man. It really is.
So
Yeah.
how was the season this year?
Oh man, beautiful. Just it's going to be fun, mate. The hemp bill's passed, so that's alleviated a lot of everybody's stress. I knew it was going to pass 2 months prior to it did because of Weyerhaeuser and all the lumber industries were freaking out, and that's in the last 2 months they've been hammering the door of Washington. So I knew something was going on. Because when you hear these
Yeah, Cotton,
big,
I bet too, was pretty upset.
yeah, oh, dude, yeah, the hemp industry. If only you knew that, boy, oh boy,
It's gonna
it
change the
grows within a
country
year.
big time. Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I can grow 150,000 pounds on 10 acres of fiber
Oh,
in 2 months.
man.
I know it's stupid, mate. This plant grows so quick, so I can outdo any forest. Yeah, they can't compete with it. They really can't, and that's why it was such a threat.
Yeah. I mean, so many different products we're gonna start
Yeah.
coming out.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to get hold of people because I get a lot of waste from my material. I'm trying to find someone that would like to do a hempcrete, to mix it with, reusable byproduct from concrete. And if you mix it with the hemp fiber, and then you do post and beam walls, it's just like, it's amazing stuff, man.
Yeah, here
You
they're
know,
building their houses with it down in South America, and they're way stronger and more structurally sound
yeah,
than
yeah.
concrete.
Yeah, that the actual fiber acts like rebar, but the best thing about the fiber, because it's movable and because it's not so rigid, it actually goes with the motion of the ocean. So if there's any movement in the landscape itself, everything goes with it. So that's why when you build your house with the hemp and either you do mud pack walls or whatever, that fiber is it's linking everything. It's an amazing stuff, man. The word's going to get out, and people are going to be building their homes out of this. It's
I
just
heard
going to be
they
interesting.
made the mortar. Not so much the hempcrete itself was illegal, but the mortar that they use to seal it together. Something in that was illegal or something like that. I know they've been fighting and fighting and fighting to try to keep it out. But with this new hemp bill passing, I'm sure they're going to change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, look, again, I only throw these things out there because I'm only just working on uh, one one little dot out of a million, and that one little dot is, as you know, that there has been a medicine made on this planet a long time ago, and it's coming back, my friend. And when this medicine gets out there and we've perfected this medicine, it's going to be released to the goddamn world. And, you just got to understand the matrix. Once you understand the matrix and the library of nature, and if you fold nature together in the right way, there's a loading program of the body. And I know this sounds pretty creepy, but you have a network within your body, and if you can, that everything in your body attaches to a drive, and whatever is on that drive runs a system. There is, I would say that there is a composition of plants within a species, and when you mix all aspects, and I'm so glad bro brought a gentleman out, he talked, but because this man has not done it, but he's on his way there, and I ain't fucking telling anyone anything. I think everyone has to get there on their own, but the most important thing is we have to combine the beginning, the end, uh, and then the predators, and then the ending. That you've got a full sum program of all life. And when you fold those together, you've made a medicine that has to come from your hand. It can't come from somebody else's. It's like, you hear people, blessing their food or whatever they say, you do change what you put in your mouth. So what I'd like to do, and eventually, is just to share the propagation of a plant and fold it. But and I think that's where the medicine's going. Not going to be, your medicine is actually going to come from you and your family.
Yeah, and they need to. I mean, the intentions are so important. That's one of the things I think they try to hide. But when you intend for your food to be healthy and good while you're making it and while you're harvesting it and while you're cooking it, that's why those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that your mom made you when you were a little kid seem to taste so good. You know, because your mom was putting so much love and attention into it.
You got it. You absolutely got it, brother.
You know, you can't recreate
You got
that
it,
stuff.
man.
That's the magic.
No, yeah. I think that's why they've driven everything to be made from Safeway.
Yeah, they don't want to. They want to be the creators. They want to be the ones controlling the intent in this place.
Yeah. Isn't it clear, man?
Our greatest power. Yeah, that's our greatest strength. That's the greatest power that we have is our intent.
Yep.
You
nailed it, dude. Yeah, they are. They are. And you know what? Not only that, they're trying to limit the control and power they have on their own system. You know, just converse with anybody about you know, they get a headache. What's the first thing they do? They don't go within to find out what is causing the headache, or what did I drink, or did I drink too much beer last night? They'll go straight to a cabinet unconsciously. The programming is so deep, dude. You know, and I'm still catching myself as well, eh?
Oh yeah, me too. Constantly, I'm still saying phrases and words that
without thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here, man. Yeah.
But I'm working on it. That's what this is all about.
Oh, dude. This is a journey, brother. It's what a wild journey. That's all I can say. You know, I'm just so glad that I've come to this point in my life that, you know, there's a bloody light in the tunnel, mate. Ain't no train.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not going to jump off any bridges or anything like that, but I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, dude.
I don't fear it.
You know what, mate? No. Oh, fearing it? Yeah. Hey, dude, yeah, absolutely. I think that's what they want you to do, brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you'll do whatever it takes to get, you know, that 10 minutes more.
Yeah. The 10 minutes more, yeah. But there is going to be I think when I think what it comes down to, just giving the liberty to have their own thoughts, I think is going to be huge. And you know what? All I can say is people need to grow their own food, and it's not that hard to grow your own food. You don't need to grow much of it. You know, it's because you don't need those things that they've been telling you that really is really unhealthy. Eat when you need to eat. Eat when you want to eat. I think the most important thing is water. I'm a big believer of water, but other than that, man, eat when you want to eat and grow your food.
Yeah, it's so easy to grow your own food.
It is, but you know what? It's, and that's what I keep thinking, you know. But you know, for someone like yourself and myself that have been grown up with parents that, you know, you go and plant a tomato plant, and it was just so normal to do that as a kid. But you talk with parents, and it's not being derogatory towards anyone. It's just where they've laid their faith. You know, it's wild.
Yeah, I see a lot more of it. Where I was living out in the country, where I grew up was in a rural area, kind of a suburb of Chicago, and there were very few people that had gardens. But then I moved out to the one of the most rural counties of the state of Indiana, kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and it was like a rite of passage to have your own garden for a lot of these old timers that were in their 70s, 80s. And I learned so much just going down to the local gas station in the morning and listening to these guys talk, because they'd all sit around and grab a coffee and sit around and talk about how their gardens were doing. And they were all about the spiritual side of it too. That was the coolest part about it. Yeah. They all said they talked to their plants and, they like babied them like they were part of the family almost.
Well, isn't that funny, mate? Look, I have a 4x8 garden in my house. I have, and I'll show people this. I've nearly finished it off. It's just we're doing a few more testing, but this 4x8 garden feeds a family of 5. I have a big cannabis plant in the center of it because I don't know if you understand cannabis. Cannabis is a library. All it is just a feeder of information. You mix and then you just get a certain selective of mushrooms which create your network. And then that whole 4x8 bed becomes a network of information. I do phantom planting and everything from strawberries all the way down to just about anything. There's a few things you don't want to put in there. They're very acidic to the soil, and then your worms and everything. It's a living 4x8. Put it this way, it's like a forest. So when I grow my broccoli sprouts or whatever under the canopies, when the canopies get so thick, it's like a redwood forest. It blocks out all the light, so all the underlaying all die off, and that goes into the soil, and it just creates that process. So every time that you flower out a plant over 4 months, that's the process. Like nature, it's like your forest. It's like going through your springs all the way through the seasons, and then your rest.
That is.
And I mean, man, a 4x8 garden feeding an entire family throughout the year, and you nurture the garden. Look, I've had friends that have not changed the soil for 3 years, and we're taking tests of the soil, and the soil is getting better.
Wow!
And you know what? We don't even put beds. If I'm growing carrots, I put 3 and make 2, and I let 1 rot.
Mm-hmm. Always. And when I'm growing my cannabis or hemp in there, I don't pull them out. I clip it. And that bolt of networks dissolve and goes back into the soil. So I pull nothing out. And, it's, when the word gets out that you can actually create a 4x8 garden that will perpetually feed your family, and it takes 7 gallons a week, 7 gallons of liquid a week. Wow.
That's all it takes. And then what you eat, you put back, you mulch it, and the worms take care of it, guys. I'm telling you, when people find out that you only need, just say if you had a house, 3-bedroom, 1-bedroom will be your garden.
That's how it needs to be.
Or however you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one way of taking the power back right there.
Oh, dude, I'm working with a couple of other people, but these gardens, I have people that are teaching me that have been doing this for 2 decades. So there's a lot of research about companion planting and about doing this in your home. And oh my God, I am telling you that the plants are, how can I put it? They're frequency specific and have grown in a metamorphic field of your family. So if I could tell you that if I took your plant and had your plant tested to you, and if I had the same species of plant grown in my family, and you match those 2 plants at a lab and its aspects of what nutrients are in there, they're totally different. You tell me what the fuck is that all about?
That's amazing. That's putting your family into it.
Dude, I'm telling these assholes that they've lied to us. They really have. You know, this body's supposed to not die in 50 years. It's not supposed to die in 100 years. I don't even know when we're supposed to die. But I guarantee it's taken 500-600 years to really deplete the mentality of the species to that of an amoeba. You know, it's man, it's crazy.
I remember on Pearl Jam, the music group, their Vitology album, they gave out a little pamphlet, like a little book that came with it, and one of them was like on the beginnings of man, and they said that man used to live between 200 to 800 years old.
You just gave me goosebumps, and you know what? I believe you, brother, and I give you a big goddamn hug because you know what? You have hairs on your body, and the reason they stand up, have you guessed what that is? Because I know I only just did not get that.
To me, that's my truth meter. When I
It's
hear
not your truth meter, man. You've connected to a matrix of truth. When you, it's like there's a fork out there that has a tuned note. And this is what I explain to people. You know, I'm an old fuck. Been there, seen a lot of idiots, and I've seen a lot of very, very beautiful people. When you say something true, brother, it's like you got a fork and you just wrung it. And you just say, it stands up and your voice. And if you're, and I didn't say it, you say here, my vibration, I'm telling you, you got two waves. Vibration or the vibration on the inner belly. Two notes, man. And that's your sixth and your seventh sense too, not after five. You know, and if you, my children learn this, you know, you got two, you know, your body tells you who is a liar and who speaks truth.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why
mate. It doesn't lie. Beautiful, you just said that. You know, you said that what you said about 200 to 800 years. Holy shit! Every hair on my body just stood up.
Yeah, it's like we're all programmed to know these things. You know, we're born knowing so many things, and when we've been taught not to know them anymore. But when we hear them, you can't hide it. It, like you said, every hair on your body stands up. It rings true when you hear the truth.
Yeah.
That's why I listen to my gut now. I've learned it took me 30 some odd years, but I've learned to listen to my gut now, just pretty much almost fully. When it tells me, you know, this person's good or this person's bad or this is this way, then that's how I don't second guess anymore.
But the beautiful thing about it too, mate, I don't have, let's put it this way. I find my friendship with people, how can I say this without sounding too squirmy? I have conversations with people that I'm doing with you right now and others in the same light. I cherish those conversations than some of the people that I spend a lot of time with because it's like either with work or just friends and acquaintances. But I tell you, just the heartfelt conversations that you have with folks in this community. I mean, I've never ever been so blessed in the last 2 years finding this group of people because it's the only world out there, but that don't really know what they're talking about. I'll leave it at that. You know,
Yeah.
this is a very, very, I think we're found. We've got a lot of free thinkers all the way from Dan to Antonio.
Yeah, the amount of people.
If you really look at it, we've got a great little community, man.
Yeah, it's so diverse too. Is one thing I love about it.
Very diverse.
Yeah, so many people are covering so many different topics. At first, we were all kind of getting away from just flat Earth anymore. You know, that whole idea.
Yep.
And we're starting to branch out. I mean, it's a great. I don't want to say it's a starting point because it's much more than a starting point. It's kind of that thing that opens up your eyes to how big the deception could possibly be. And I think,
how big do you think it is, my friend?
oh, I still can't grasp it. I don't think.
Me either. Me either. And that's why I need a community, man, because I need someone else to take part of the load.
It's so big you can't even see. It's like an iceberg.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a very good analogy.
Yeah,
But
yeah. We are being lied to about. I think that it's. I don't know. It's so hard to.
Hey, listen. I sent you a link, Zach, and I sent it to Adam as well. I think you guys should play this song. If you can play it, pull it up on iTunes and play it through for the show. It's an amazing song. What you guys are talking about is this song. So to give you a little bit of background on the song is this artist sampled a conversation that Crow 777 was giving in an interview, and he put it in his music, and it's just everything you're talking about. It's a very profound song. So if you can, I think it'd be a good thing to play.
I will see what I can do. I don't have an iPhone, but I might be able to.
If Adam has on his computer, if he has an iTunes program, he can just pull it up on iTunes and you can just look for it in the store and play it that way.
Okay.
But I mean,
beautiful. And it's a yeah. No, go ahead, Brockman.
I was just going to say, if it's too much trouble, don't worry about it. But if you can, then it'll be a...
Yeah, I'll try. I'll see what I can do. Let's see. Open Your Eyes, it's called. Yeah, it'll take me a minute. Oh, wait, share.
Yeah, so that's the name of the album. The song is called The Game. I mean, I have chills thinking about the fact that you're going to play it right now just because it is so profound.
Going back all these lives too.
Will I get a copyright strike if I play it?
I really don't know how that works because, you know, Flat Earth Dude streams 3 hours of music and he never gets struck. So I don't know how that works. If you want to like pause it in the middle of it for a little bit and break it up so that you're not playing the whole thing consecutively, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, I've never had a. Well, this is the first hangout I've ever had. I've never had a copyright strike. Service and repair, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yeah, watch you don't get a copy strike.
I think maybe if you just play a minute, you know, don't play the whole thing. But
where did I do that now? Come on. Yeah, bear with me, folks. This is my first time playing with the thing. I just had it brought up, too. There we go. iTunes. It's taken me to something. I don't think redirecting you to iTunes, Apple.com, blah, blah, blah. Reading.
like I said, if
Yeah.
he doesn't have the app, the iTunes program already on his computer, then I don't think it's worth trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's doing something.
I have the
I can
iTunes on my
preview
phone.
it.
I'll back with you in a second.
Tell me if you can hear this. Oh, it says waiting for apple.com. Yeah, preview. Here we go. Whoa.
Let's see.
That's loud.
Open your eyes.
That's not the song.
Let's see.
No? That's
that's
what
the
you
song.
sent me.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah.
Because the album is called Open Your Eyes, and the song that's in the album is called A Game, and it's the game.
Okay.
And so if you've got the album in front of you, you can maybe see the game. But like I said, if it's too much trouble, don't worry about it.
I can give it one more try, I think.
Yeah, it must have just sent you the album itself instead of the song.
Yeah, I think that's what it did. I'll look for that certain one.
Because Issa Mahalski has a song in that album too.
Yeah, I was listening to Issa Jam earlier today.
Yeah, so was I. It was so good.
Talented, yeah. Man, he can jam.
I sent the link to my friend, and he's like, "Did you see how much that guy was smoking?"
Just the amount of talent that it takes to. I mean, I know he's what do they call that? When you're kind of
savant.
Well, yeah, he's definitely a savant. But when you're putting it on a loop, you're looping this part, and then you start playing over that, and you loop another instrument.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do. It takes talent.
Yeah.
The audience.
Whoa. That is like super loud. Is that super loud on your guys' end?
It's not like I can tell that it's loud on your end, even though it didn't blow my eardrums out. So you have to turn the volume down on the iTunes app or program.
Yeah,
but it sounds like it's going to just give you a sample. I don't think it's going to play the whole song.
Yeah, it gives a 30-second sample here. Okay, it's just going to blow out. It's going to be loud. I'm just going to play it. I can't find a network tools. No, that's taking me to some .com something or other. Nope, I'm just going to.
Well, hold on, just real quick. So, what are you looking at right now? Are you looking at iTunes, the program? Because there should be at the top.
Yeah.
There should be a volume bar for you to slide up and down. Like, look for the play button. Is there a play button?
No, the play button is just right on the saying Apple Music Preview. Sign in, try it now, and then it's giving me the names of all the songs.
Well, they give to make it as much that I've built it up to now. It's going to be a letdown.
I don't know. You went robot there for a second. What was that?
I said, hopefully the sample that they're going to give is enough of what Crow says to make it worth all of this trouble. Otherwise,
Okay. Well, here we go. I'm gonna hit it. We'll just let it play loud.
Well, the audience ain't so sleepy anymore, and yet it hasn't become more hidden. It's become more overt. When you look at school, what you have been taught is how to function within their system. You have been taught nothing about the system.
And that's it. That's pretty cool, though.
I know that was enough. That was just, oh man.
Who did that song, my friend?
The name of the group is, oh, you can just go ahead, you do it, Zach.
Oh, I'm gonna have to open it back up again. I just closed it out.
Zach, so with that song, because I'm doing up a new website, and I'm looking for a song to put on that website in a loop. That would be fucking brilliant. So, is that like a copyright song, or is it like a?
Well,
if I even took a 15-second loop.
The artist seems to be a truther, so if you contacted him, I'm sure he'd be thrilled for you to publish.
Well, I'll show him the website that I'm doing. I think it's going to freak him out. Okay, that's what I'll do. Yeah, I'm doing a. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's in the Hangout chat.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
thank you, Zach.
Yeah, no problem.
That's fucking awesome. Beautiful song.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying getting back into music because music was a huge part of my life. Just huge. I mean, it meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Then when I learned about the industry, it really turned me off of music. I quit listening. I don't even listen to music in my vehicle or anything like that. I just don't.
Yeah, they overtook it, huh?
It's but now with the internet, now you can listen to bands, and people that haven't sold their soul to be famous. It's neat. I'm getting back into it again, listening to new artists.
Yeah, same here, brother. Yeah. People that have morality, people that are excited about just even playing.
Well, if you haven't come across this artist, I highly recommend Josh Ritter. Josh Ritter.
Ritter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going through a lot of songs. But that one just sounded so cool with him talking in the background. That just was really neat.
Oh yeah, I've listened to it over and over again since I came across it just the other day. So what was funny was I shared a link to my friend for Isa Mahalski, and so he looked up Isa on iTunes and just happened to come across this artist, and he's like, dude, this artist has a song with Pro 777 in it. And so I would never have known about it if I hadn't sent him this Isa Mahalski link. And so I've listened to this song over and over and over again.
Have you heard the song Radioactive?
Yeah, by Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, I'm learning that one right now.
Okay. Have you seen their music video for they do a moon landing spoof. What's the name of that song?
No.
What's the name? It's on the tip of my tongue. If you go to YouTube and look up Imagine Dragons, it'll show you a thumbnail, and you can recognize the pattern from The Shining. They do a whole. It's a brilliant tinfoil hat calling out bullshit on the moon landings. What is the name of that song? I'm gonna have to look it up. Hold on.
Did you hear about that basketball player? I'm not even sure what his name is. The newest one who came out and said that the moon landings were fake, and then
Yeah, Steph Curry.
then retracted it because NASA showed him pictures or showed him moon rocks or something like that.
But you know what, dude? They let the cat out the bag. That should have never been said. They should have never have allowed that out. They fucked up. Someone did that on purpose, brother.
Yep.
Someone's breaking the system there. I'm telling you, I see it clear as a bell, man. That was a mistake. They let out a big fat cat.
Yeah, the more people, the more kids you tell about that stuff, the more they're going to look into it. And that's all.
Oh, my God. It was beautiful. The reason I'm saying that, because I deal with a lot of people, and because those people I don't share everything I do with people because of my industry. I just got to keep a tight lip just for a year or so I can have my investors paid back. But it was quite interesting to hear their conversations about, but what if? where that what if never came up prior to that being released with that basketball player. I think it's fucking brilliant. They made a big boo-boo. And they can't close that door that's already been opened now.
No, I think they would put the internet back in the bottle if they could.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Zach. Absolutely. Oh my God. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, as much information that they get out of it about us and everybody, and all that kind of stuff. I think us sharing information with each other has done so much more damage. Just the ability for us to get together like this right here and just have a chat.
Zach, you are the biggest threat. What you're doing right now is touching more people than you know. See, you think you're touching. See, when you think about it, there's no such thing as time. So my children listening to you talk right now, they're going to be telling their friends they heard you 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's amazing to think like that.
No, you have to, brother. If you think you're going to live for another 50 years to your 100, 150, that's how you have to fucking think.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
No, you have to, man. If you wire your brain, it's how you wire your brain. If you wire it correctly, it has only one place it can end up. It's inevitable. You have to wire the brain to your future. That's all you got to do.
You kind of make it, right?
You have to. It's yours to make. Fuck, mate, it's yours. It's your goddamn property. You make what you want of it. That's why I'm saying, these assholes have lied to the way our body rebuilds. Isn't it funny? Yes, every 7 years. Yeah, that is quite strange why the hemoglobin repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it, the brain, oh my God, mate, I've seen people in a fucking coma that have been asleep for 7 fucking years and suddenly wake up to a little bit of THC, 15 milligrams under the tongue and wake up. Actually, the monitors are starting to pick up something in the room before it's administered. Isn't that fucking funny?
Wow.
Yeah, this guy was asleep for 7
knew it
years,
was
mate.
gonna happen.
7 years he was asleep for. He was driving his Bentley and got hit head on by a bigger Bentley than him, a big truck. Put him in a coma for 7 years, man. Anyway, through a beautiful family. One got cancer, one got healed of cancer through CBD. Isn't that funny? She says, well, it may work on my husband. Love, it may. Went over there straight away, but they wouldn't give it to him because she had to go and get a doctor's form to administer fucking CBD to a person that's been asleep for 7 years. Is that common sense? That's ridiculous. Anyway, she still had to go through the protocol and put this thing under while she did administer it, the doctor did, under the tongue. And I swear to God, man, this guy woke up clear as a bell in 20 minutes.
That's
And
all.
the only thing he could say, mate, is he swore. And I don't know if you understand about swearing. Swearing uses another part of the brain why you can't speak using another. So you can have a stroke, lose your speech, and still say fuck. And that happens in any fucking language.
There's a good
It uses
reason
a
why.
different part of the brain. Why do you think they fucking don't want you to swear? It's because it uses intent. When you hit your hammer when you hit your fucking finger on a nail, or I mean your hammer, what do you say? You don't say, oh, what a beautiful day. You know, I'm going to walk with the flowers. No, you say, fuck, oh, ooh, you know, whatever it is. It's intent, man.
Big Pharma would go out of business if everybody.
Yeah, dude, we've been lied to about everything. Everything. And, you know, it's just so beautiful to peel back this layer. I mean, layer after layer after layer. Everything is a bloody lie. The way my body works. Everything. My endocannabinoid system. The first thing created out of the womb. In the womb. When the seed hits the egg. And then the nervous system is developed around that. Everything is developed around the endocannabinoid system, which tucks into 3 species of majority of the plant: rudiolis, cannabis, and hemp. Isn't that interesting?
It's another coincidence.
Now, are there a lot of other plants
Yeah.
that produce CBD?
Excuse me?
Are there a lot of other plants that also produce cannabinoids?
Yes, absolutely. Why do you
I know,
think? Why do you think? Why do you think the koala gets stoned?
oh yeah, eucalyptus.
Uh-huh. Animals
Has a
will
lot of
tell you.
CBD in
Animals will tell you where they're being sedated.
it.
Do you think that koala's just there for your entertainment?
No.
No, it's telling you something, man. They're a beautiful creature. All these animals are out there, man. They're unbiased. They live amongst certain things and they eat certain things to tell you what the fuck's going on with nature. And you know, usually, you know, we treat this like going to the zoo. You
Yeah,
know,
nature is
why do you pussycat? Why does your pussycat go out and chew that bit of grass? You know, and horses eat certain places. You know, back in the old days, because I read a lot of old texts from China, you know, and Genghis Khan, wherever his horse ate, he hopped off that horse and ate exactly that same grass. Interesting, huh? I'm not
Yeah.
saying, you know, that's probably a little. Again, I don't know why do certain things do certain things. I don't know. All I know that everything that I've been taught to, and my parents have been trained to believe, is false.
Well, that was one of the videos that I came across when I first started looking into Max Gerson, and the other 2 people. There was the one woman up in Canada, and there was another man here in the United States at around the 1900s. I guess he was out on his farm and he had a horse that had developed some tumors. So he thought the horse was going to die, so he left it out to pasture, and he started watching the horse and watched what the horse was eating, and the tumors went away. So then he started to do alchemy with these plants, and he had a tincture that was curing cancer, and he got shut down.
Lucky they didn't kill him.
It's a very, very interesting story. I can't remember who it was. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but it's very, very interesting. I was so angry. I was angry because I have a really good friend who lost his wife to breast cancer. and and I'm just convinced. I just know that she would be alive if they had not gone chemo.
There's an old lemon balm. I believe it's the Melissa plant overseas, across the pond, is what they call it. But there's
It's
a
got
tincture.
cannabinoids in it.
Yeah, very large amounts, I believe. But you can make an ends tincture, they call it, which is just it's spagyrics, but a little bit with a couple extra steps added into it. Um, but it goes back to where people are saying when they were taking it, the 60-some-year-old farmhand that he had working for him, like his maid, started ovulating again. He gave it to an old chicken, and it all its feathers fell out and grew new feathers in, and started laying eggs again, and all this. He was taking it for 2 weeks, and his fingernails fell out, and then they grew back in like brand new. But there's magical things that a lot of these plants can do. That
And
I
they
think
can
they know about.
control weather too, brother. Yeah, and they do. They can control weather. You know, plants are really interesting, and plants will help other plants somewhere else a long way away if they just let it be. See, that's another thing. If you sit in the forest long enough by yourself, just imagine if you sat out there for periods of time, 2 years, whatever, blindfolded. You get to understand nature, and then when you do this, is you start to see something a lot different than what you've been told. See, large forests can actually invoke nature either in clouds, winds, or whatever. They can change their temperature. I mean, just to understand a forest is amazing. We have not many people know this. We have a bunch of researchers here right now from Germany doing some field test studies on a forest and how it's changing the upper atmospheres. This is a special species of pine, and they're being blown away how this thing's affecting clouds thousands and thousands of feet above it. I mean, it's intelligence, man. I mean, the fucking intelligence on this plane is incredible.
How it's all connected, living together.
It is, dude. No, and I don't want to sound fucking airy-fairy here, but, you know, it's like if you really, truly love nature and you go and hug, you know, I'm not saying an important tree, but something that's been around a bit, diverse network. And I'm guaranteeing that if you do that with a tree in another country, like my country, Australia, you know, I'm telling you, dude, it's a network.
It's
an
weird.
Absolute network, man.
I spent about 2 months out in the desert this fall, and just coming back to getting into eastern Texas, where there's forests again and pine trees, and I was saying hello to so many of them. When I'd get out to stop and stretch my legs and let Hank go to the bathroom, I was going up and hugging some of these trees. It was just, it's weird when you're not around them. When I grew up where there's tree lines everywhere. Every direction you look, you saw trees. And I thought I would love it out there in the desert, looking around me instead of tree lines, seeing mountains everywhere. And it was beautiful and gorgeous, but there was just something missing. And it was all the trees and stuff. I don't know. I think people are not determined, but like meant to live in certain places. And I definitely just wasn't meant to live in the desert. But yeah, what you were saying about hugging a tree. No, last time I was in Louisiana just now, I had met a couple trees a few months ago, and then I was passing through Louisiana again, stopped by my buddy's house, and went and said hi to those same trees. big, huge oak trees, at least 9 foot in diameter, just huge, old trees. Have you ever thought about talking to a mountain?
Yeah, that's
Have you done
amazing, man.
Have you done any of the mineral alchemy? Yeah,
Yeah, it just, you know, wow. All I can say is it's just, yeah, where does it go from here? And that's why, you know, when you start to speak with like-minded people without feeling that your boundaries are threatened, it just allows people to freely think more, question more, and not only that, you open up new avenues of thought because everybody has a different perspective, looking through a different lens, and mate, and that's where I gain a lot of my information is just dealing with many people all over the world that they have a different onlook of what they're doing or how they see it. And I think if you block that out, man, you'll never ever learn. And that's what I love about this community that we've been involved in for a couple of years. It's out of the box.
Well,
Yeah,
let me
there is no
give a little.
box.
Yeah, that's a good analogy too. There's no box.
Um, that's really what lies behind my attempt with my channel Red Hen Radio is for me to make contact with people like Crow, people like Max Egan, people like Zach and Anthony. I don't know you very well, but I've heard you a couple of times, and I'm just like, man, I want this guy on my radio show. I want to just sit and hear what you know.
Oh, you know what? And the funny thing about that, brother, it hasn't even started, mate.
I know.
You know how many people that we all know, and and what the funny thing is, man, is the people that are just one night, for some unknown reason, they accidentally hit something on their keyboard or whatever, because these things happen, dude, and something comes up on their screen and they go, what?
Yeah.
And then they click it, and then that box opens up, and then, boy, I mean, that's why they can't stop what they're doing now. What Zach has done tonight, and I swear to God, mate, my children will be telling someone, we were listening to this in Wushugal, and I was 5 years old. And I mean, what does that ripple do from now into 15 years into the future that now Zach has heard that? See, this is what they can't compete with. See, these people that are playing the trickery, they think they understand the human species. They don't. They're actually really scared of the human species, man. What
yeah,
what
they don't want us
they
to know
don't,
what we're
yeah,
capable of.
they absolutely.
That frightens them more than anything. Because they know we have the keys. I mean, we outnumber them by so many. But this is why you have your politics and your sports and your anything to divide and conquer us.
Yeah. Oh, most
They've got
definite,
so many
Zach.
things for you to pick from. Yeah, they got whatever you want to argue about. They have, the topic, and people already out there ready to argue for the other side.
Well, can I say this? That the reason HDT came out, and now the next thing that's already being played with as we talk, they're doing this down in California, and it's going to be launched really soon. That the next thing after HD is it's going to be in your fucking room. What they're trying to do is they're trying to denature the humanity. They're trying to unplug it from what gives you just about goddamn everything. They're trying to re-unplug that out of nature and plug it into this I don't even know what you'd call it. I wouldn't have a fucking clue. Yeah, they're unplugging you from nature and they're trying to plug you into something else. Because if you look at HDT, they're trying to bring real life into your living room. We don't have a TV here, but you just imagine. I went and seen someone's new TV. I couldn't believe it, my friend. It looked almost unreal, but it
Yeah,
was a
like
live.
like
It was a
slide
live
into
football
it.
game. It was a live
Yeah,
football game.
I know it's getting crazy. Video
Yeah,
games
I've
now.
thought about that. I've thought about that when I've walked through the appliance section at the store. I'm like, that's not the way the world looks. The way that is on the picture right there, that's not the way we see the world. You know, it's too good. It's you
I
understand what I
think
mean?
they're making it fake. They're making it fake. Yeah, it's just really interesting, man.
That's exactly right. I was out shooting the moon this morning, and there were chemtrails everywhere. And this husband and wife came walking by, and they're like, what are you shooting?" And I said, "Well, for one thing, I'm shooting chemtrails." And the guy goes, "Oh, you mean contrails?" And I said, "Okay, look, you see that cloud right there? That's a cloud. You see that trail right there? That's not a cloud. And now look through the cloud and see the sun. See how you're seeing the sun right now? That's not normal. That's not natural." And he just stood there and just like thinking through what I'm saying to him, like he never thought about it.
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
remember back in the 90s when I first started seeing them. I kept asking people, "What is that? Why are the planes doing that?" And they acted like they had always done that. I was like, "Are you serious? You never noticed a plane before? Never had the big white line following behind it? Why is that happening? I don't know." Yeah, I remember clear. It was like 1994, 1995, right around there when I first started seeing chemtrails.
Well,
Wow,
what I like happening is
that's
when
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
What were you saying, Trav?
I try to capture whenever I can, and I love it when I've got a plane that is spewing out chemtrails and a plane that's not. I had a plane. They were parallel to each other, flying, and they were the same size, so you would think that they were the same altitude. One was just it had a mile and a half long trail behind it, and the other one had absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. And I'm capturing it, and I'm like talking to the camera. Okay, look and see what you're seeing right now. Why does the one plane not have any trail? It was very stark.
Well, I've seen it where the chemicals coming behind it will get shut off for a second, almost like they're switching canisters, and then it'll go for a little bit, and then it turns
Yep,
right back on.
yep. I captured that one too. Yep.
It's kind of hard to deny that kind of stuff. And then you'll have some people saying, well, you have to keep on nailing home chemtrail, keep on saying chemtrail, keep on saying chemtrail. But really, when Congress talks about it or a senator brings it up, they say high aerosol dispersal or dispersal system or something like that.
High altitude aerosol injections.
There it is. Yeah, thank you. So I don't know what to say. I know it. Yeah, it worries me a lot. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know. That's one of those things that I tried, almost bury my head in the sand about right
On how to
now.
take planes apart.
Oh, yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, it's one of those scary realities, really. That yeah, we're getting sprayed with something.
Remember the other day when we were setting up the trampoline and it looked like the clouds were almost falling.
Yeah, that was. I have pictures of that with my P610.
That was
Yeah, it looked
wicked.
like the cloud was raining a white powder out of it.
And they were still spraying X's over top of us at the same time. Multiple X's.
Weird. Yeah, it was. I've noticed a lot more spraying down here than out in the desert. Out in the desert, they still did it, but it wasn't nearly. I
You
mean,
should
it's
see
been
it
nonstop every day.
before Irma was the worst I've ever seen it. Before Hurricane Irma hit us, it was insane.
Wow.
They just started dumping. And it was the big trails, 4 of them in one plane, 4 big ass nozzles. I've never seen anything like it. It was just super obvious. That's what scares me right there the most, is that I'm out here looking up and like wondering why everybody else isn't. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares. Somebody will fix that.
So I just put in 2 pictures. One is the first one is the moon, and the second one is the sun. And
That first one was the moon? Can I,
you,
I should be able to share that, shouldn't I?
so you go to share screen on your hangout. Click the screen with your mouse, and there should be a button that comes to the left that will allow you to share your screen. But this is the way I thought about it as we look up in the sky and we see the chemical rainbows that we see in the sky. If you were hiking in the forest and you came across a pond that had a film of rainbow on top of the water, what would you understand about what we were seeing?
Sorry, say that again now.
If you were hiking through the forest and you came across a pond or a large lake, and as you looked at the top of the water, you could see that there was a film of this rainbow. There was this rainbow prismatic film on top of the water. What would you understand about what you were seeing?
Like gasoline?
Yeah. Yeah, you would know that there was a chemical compound on top of the water that was not
petroleum.
That was not water. You wouldn't drink it. That's exactly what we see right now as we look up in the sky. You see that picture of the moon and the sun? That's what I'm saying about the water that you come across in the forest.
It's funny you say that. One of my really good friends, he's still on the fence. He still thinks like the beer is coming and shit. So, but he was looking up one day, and he's like, "Man, doesn't that look like gasoline and water?" It's funny you say that because that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. Well, if you just look at that sun shot that I sent Zach or put in the chat. That's what it came to my mind. I'm like, holy crap, that's totally what we're looking at.
Uh-oh. Don't know what I did. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, mate, I hear you loud and clear, mate.
I don't know if I froze up the computer or...
Are you on your Hangout page?
Yeah, I'm on the screen share page and it's not letting me X out of it. It's all right. Figure it out. Yeah, there's been people coming out, scientists, government scientists coming out saying, "Oh yeah, there's aluminum and barium and like Constance is saying, there's things that they're finding in the soil that have never been there before." And aluminum isn't something that's, from nature. That is created. Aluminum actually used to be more expensive than gold. They tipped the Washington Monument when they built it with aluminum. Not until they figured out this way to mass produce it. I forget what it's actually called. But yeah, it was getting attacked by a laser. I don't know what to do here. Oh.
Where it starts melting the wall.
Boom, 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 boom. What am I doing?
Zach, I can see your screen now, so you're sharing your screen.
Which one am I sharing? Just the YouTube hangout?
It looks like the chat. It looks like I can see
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I closed down the other one. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to not do that. It wouldn't let me just get out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure you got like at least a good handful of people just waiting to foreign bomb you.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm such a threat. Yeah, it's definitely been interesting these last 4 years. Life has gotten a lot more exciting, I guess, would be the good way to put it.
Absolutely, mate. You nailed it. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come to the same table we're sitting at right now and freely share.
Yeah, it's
That's
definitely.
why I take my hat off to you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Takes a great man to start something. You know that. It's all easy to talk and do nothing. And to do an open broadcast for the community. Anybody that does it, I really do. Because you're affecting so many timelines. I just that's why I'm saying if you walks and think about what you're actually doing, the timelines that you're affecting is just out of control. That's why talking to you and other people like this, I totally support and talk with, because you're just affecting a positive future, man.
Yeah, I'm trying. Just doing my part.
Yeah, that's it. But that's all we need to do is each one of us is a cog, man.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. It's a big engine, dude. A lot of moving parts.
That doesn't scare me.
Nah, it's going to be cool, dude. And I think just getting to it, and they want us to live in fear. And I think that's the program they've been trying to portray since the days of removing cannabis. You remember the days 1910, 1920, that if your wife smokes marijuana, they're going to run off with a black man. So the fear has been really entrained in keeping you away from what's going to wake you up. I'm not saying cannabis just wakes you up. I'm just saying just plants in general. I call the spiritual plants that actually has something to do with the body and your awakening. And there's many plants out there, and I guarantee it. I don't agree with the cannabis being illegalized. I fought it. I didn't want it to be another bottle of vodka. But I think what we just have to do as a community is just educate those that are coming into cannabis, is just come in it wisely. Just don't treat cannabis as another bottle of vodka. I
No.
think that's, you know, it's
No
just
matter.
amazing how they're trying to, they let something out that's really good for you, Zach. And when they let it out, and I knew these buggers, they're letting it out for another reasons. And I've only just found out the reasons that they've released what they've done to it is because they're trying to demoralize the actual healing benefits of a plant. And it's really interesting where it's going, mate. And I don't agree with it. But, you know, getting to it, I'm excited for change. The future's beautiful. And Zach, you're affecting the future, man.
Thank you, Anthony.
Yeah, no, dude. And that's why you got to think, man. I think it's beautiful. I think we should support a lot of other people that are trying to get out there and have a voice and just speak their mind. I totally support it.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Trying to get some people that don't get heard as much as often, you know. Adam being one of them here. There's a bunch of you that are always welcome to come on and say whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of a hermit. I choose to not be. I don't know, I do more listening than speaking for the most part. But every now and again, I like to hop on.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of important things that they could share with others. I think it'd be cool if he would just show how to change some parts on vehicles and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
Start
I thought
making
about it.
videos on stuff like that. Yeah, just share any information that we have that is, you know, worthwhile information that could help others.
I'll show you
I think
one.
we should all start sharing that kind of stuff. Scotty Storm. How we doing, man?
For whatever reason, my mind went to that scene in the Breakfast Club when they were all talking to each other and sitting around and talking about what their special talents were. And they all looked to Andrew, who was the jock, and they said, "What's your special talent?" And he said, "Do you remember the movie? I can tape all of your buns together with duct tape." That's about my point for that was that's about the extent of my expertise. I'm not an engineer, and I can use duct tape.
Well, you know what they say. If you can't duck it, fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not trained in any special anything either, Trav. I'm just your average run-of-the-mill guy, you know? I just love to learn. And ever since Flat Earth came around, it made me much more zetetic. I want to test things. I don't want to take other people's words for it anymore.
And you brought up a beautiful subject too, Zach. Isn't it amazing? In my alchemy of 20 years since I first learnt it and my first distillation as a young teenager, I did that on something that I was told that was false. I did it on a round planet. I'm doing the same distillation with the mindset 40 years later on a flat planet. Outcomes are both the same.
Yeah.
It's my intent.
That's
See,
important.
the great thing is who you are. And I think it's your intent that what you're doing, the alchemy you're doing, you know, and how you do your alchemy of choosing times, you know, and I don't want to sound arrogant to anybody, but I believe if you are one with nature, you and nature have an agreement with everything else around it. And when you make your wonder, you choose the time. I don't have I don't have clocks telling me what time that is. When you go
Exactly.
beyond teachers and alchemy, it becomes personal. And
Yeah,
when you have this relationship, it is you in no time, no month, no year, day or night. You are in the goddamn void. In between the magnet. There's nothing. That's where I do my alchemy.
I like that.
And anybody can learn this is because we've been so filtrated, everything has to have to be a good or a bad. I mean, that's already pulling everything apart, but when you go to the center of something, it has nothing.
that's so true.
Man, I'm telling you, it is simple, dude. My parents are the best parents on this planet. I've been so just blessed with these parents that have just let me be who I am. And my parents brought me up. They educated me. Nobody else did. And I swear to God, man, you be a part of nature. And, a lot of people are going to hear this and think it's very airy fairy. No, I want to get past the airy fairiness. But if you get to that point where you just have this knowingness, I'm telling you, man, when you create your alchemy on how you choose that alchemy should be done, nature is going to be so entangled with you, it will reveal itself to you. And
Yeah,
it's personal to you.
when
It
I
can't be taught to anyone.
when I made my 7 basic, which actually started growing back my hair, I didn't
Yes, dude.
apply
Jack,
astronomy.
I heard that, man. I loved it. That's when I first started hearing your stuff, dude.
Yeah, it something in that book that I was reading just told me that, it's much more than just making a tincture and taking it. It's communicating with the plant throughout the whole process. The planting, the growing, the harvesting, the preparing, and then once you transform it, it becomes something totally new. And I sat there and I communicated with them the whole way through it. And I asked them the whole time, hey, it'd be so cool, if you'd help grow my hair back. I think that'd be awesome. And I was saying this to these plants, the whole time that they were growing while I harvested them. And then it actually worked. And that changed my life right there. That was before Flat Earth. And that just made, I don't know, so many more things possible about the whole fact that we're being lied to and this and that. That changed my life. That really did. I've never had an aha moment as to when I felt that hair back on top of my head. I didn't even notice it was happening. One of my buddies came downstairs and he's sitting there looking at me all funny, like, what? I was like, what are you looking at? He's like, man, you have hair on your head. And I was like, shut up, get out of here, leave me alone. And he's like, no, seriously. And then I started feeling it, and sure enough, and I still have it. I haven't taken the tinctures in quite a while. But it stayed. It was thicker while I was taking the tinctures, but I made the tinctures out of vanity. I was still in that stage. So I don't want to I want to take the tinctures that I made and revivify them, break them down again, purify them a little bit more, then revivify them as a teaching aid instead of a vanity aid.
You awesome, dude. You just nailed it because it is a teaching aid. Vanity is neither good or bad if you're in the void. If you're in the center of vanity, of whatever it may be for your hair, the only time that it would do that, mate, is when you're neither. You're nothing. You went to a place, man, where you just changed everything.
Yeah.
I think you can only get to a place is you have to redissolve your attitudes, your fears, who you've been trained to be and think. You had to dissolve all that, brother.
Yeah, just like
And
Spagiri.
yeah, that's what you're doing. And that's why I'm saying I will never fucking teach this. Never. It's not, and even my teacher didn't really teach me. He just gave me tools. But yeah, I would never teach this, but if people have a personal relationship with nature, they could learn this with just simple of a conversation like this that me and you are having, Zach, and they could learn the rest of it in a couple of years. It's that easy.
Yeah, that's the greatest part about
I'm telling you, man, swear to
it.
God, 20 years of what I know, really getting into the so deep, can be learnt in 2 years. You just need basic tools. Don't mind some worms and digging past them. And I swear to God, man, you're going to breathe life into a garden that's going to create magic. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's what I'm down here in Florida with Adam, who's here and to hang out with us. A McKinsey.
What's happening? Tell me. I don't know what's happening. So,
I'm Adam. Good to meet you, by the way, Anthony.
oh, Adam, beautiful to meet you too, brother. You've conversed quite a while, and I love this, man. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was out in the desert and kind of looking for a place to hang out for the winter while it was cold. And he actually invited me here to Florida to come and stay with him and his family. And he's teaching me automotive and welding stuff. And I'm building a garden in his backyard for him with a compost pile, and I'm going to teach him how to grow his own food and then can it and all that kind of good stuff.
We're going to fix your truck up.
Yeah, we're kind of trading skills.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think he was actually going to come down. Like 2
Oh,
days
no,
after
no,
I mentioned it, he was on the road.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
great.
no, Zach's a dude. Zach, I can only know him by and how he treats nature. I think he's pretty much what comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, he wears his emotions on his sleeve too. You know, it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
what you see is what
yeah,
you get, and
yeah. That's it, dude.
you know, like
Yeah.
everybody around here, and my wife's family, my family. He came over to my dad's for Christmas. My dad invited him over. Everybody loves him. I mean, he's hard not to. You can't if you hate the guy, then you're just a worthless piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't think there's even a word for it, but yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say because I don't know, man. It's just you're a rare breed, Zach.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate
Well,
it.
you know, and I think it goes to when you look at you know, just people like that in general, how they're treated throughout life. It's really interesting, eh? And you know what? The good thing about it that there's a lot more out there like Zach and yourself and people that I think their times come.
Yeah, absolutely. We see what they want us to see. They could fill the news with people helping people every day and people going out of their way to make sure other people have a better life, but they choose to show the bad things.
Oh, dude,
Fear.
Absolutely. And you know it's like if you're tuning into a radio station and all you hear is just scratching, you know, on the chalkboard, and then you turn it on to another radio station and it's just it's really cool. It's wow, you know, it's exactly the conversation we're having here. It's not going to ride with people, but I tell you that
it's not the right frequency. That's for sure.
no, dude, that's what I love when I hear you guys and Zach over the year and a bit. You know, it's just, dude, it's like yeah, I found a radio station that I can listen freely to
Yeah,
and be free in the same time. Fuck, I mean that's rare.
yeah. This is. I haven't left this conversation for that very reason. Is the frequency that we're on right now is just an amazing part of the journey that I'm on, which is why I made the comment last night when I was listening to Iron Realm Media, because I was listening to it and it was that exact metaphor. That was such a great metaphor, that the frequency and what I was hearing, I couldn't turn it off. I didn't want to turn it off.
Thanks, Trav. Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah, they're
And what
good
I'm
people.
saying is I'm here now in this conversation for the very same reason.
Yeah, and they really care about you too, Zach. You can tell. You know, they're always like they seem like the kind of people where if you were in a bind, they would drive out and come help you out. You know,
Oh yeah.
the Iron Realm boys. Yeah, definitely some good people in this community for sure.
Oh,
Like
there's so
Denver
many
was
good
the same
people.
way.
Yeah, it's really neat when you get this. Like I said, the internet, they'd put it back in the bottle if they could. It's so neat being able to meet like-minded people, especially when you get so many of them together.
I can see like some Glober right now just sitting there like, oh, this is just, they're all getting along and, oh, we got a porn bomb on them. There's too much positivity going on.
Yeah, the trolls, usually they leave me alone for the most part.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's nice.
I usually just erase their comments, though. That's why I don't give them a platform. So they've
How it
learned
should
over the
be.
years.
Especially
And
the
some
Yeah,
people
repeat
don't like
offenders.
that.
that is beautiful, man. I got no time for twat.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just cut it. You know, it's like something that you don't want to grow. You just dig it out.
Oh,
It's
exactly.
gone. It's never coming back. And I'll
And I
No, I
burn
get,
the
throw it on
fucker.
the burn pile. Yeah, I throw it on the burn pile.
I get some people are still fighting their ego and they're still confused or whatever. But you get these repeat offenders that just come back every day with the same bullshit. It's a job. It's a 9 to 5
Yep,
paycheck.
yep,
Yeah, I don't
yep.
take them as being genuine people.
No.
And they used to really get on my nerves and annoy me. But I've grown past that now, It doesn't. It's actually kind of sad. I have empathy for them because I wouldn't want that to be my life,
Yeah.
to be an internet troll, that to be my job.
Shit, you'd have to have another job too. They can't get paid that much.
I
Unless you're
mean,
living with mom.
even if they're getting paid big bucks, still, I wouldn't want that as my, my
Well, yeah, you're the
addition
kind of
to
person that wouldn't be able to
society.
sleep at night. You didn't accomplish anything that day. What
And
did
you're
I
not a
do?
psychopath.
Yeah. Well said, Travis.
Come on, I got it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
There's no
Anthony,
chemtrail tonight.
I'm going to be moving to Eastern Europe probably before the year is out and making CBD oil in mass quantities.
That's if my wife and daughter let you.
Yeah, if they let me go.
Every morning, dude, Addison. She doesn't even care about me no more. She's just like, "Where's Hank? I gotta go say hi to Hank."
I think he's
So
inside
funny.
right now still. I think he's inside.
In the house?
I think so. Are you? No, here
Funny.
he is. He's in bed. He's laying in bed, sleeping. Yeah, he's a good dog. He's a good guy. Just period.
He's taught Bo, my dog, quite a bit. My dog used to. He's really stubborn. And then I think Hank kind of straightened him up and showed him the ropes. Like, look, man, you won't get in trouble if you just sit right here. Bo's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Get some biscuits and gravy out of this.
Yeah, Bo's a good boy. He's a big lover.
Yeah, he's always been like that. Yeah, it's amazing how back in the day, pit bulls were nanny dogs. They used to babysit, watch over the kids.
Well, yeah, they're very protective of their families.
Then they got the mainstream media, you know, the old typical, it's devil's grass. You smoke it, you're gonna be on heroin. You know, the fear mongering. Pit bulls are
Oh
just
yeah.
vicious, but it's just like anything else. You raise it to fight, it's gonna fight.
Yeah, you raise it to love, it's gonna love.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing like about when it comes to hate. That is a programmed mindset. You know, like you're not born with any hate whatsoever. Nothing. It's just it's taught. It's absorbed throughout the most crucial times in development when you're young. You know, that's why I don't let my daughter. She doesn't watch any cable TV at all. Like anytime it's on, she comes around, I'll turn it off because I got the little antenna out there. Sometimes I'll have it on. I don't even want it on when she's around because you never know what they're gonna. One second they're talking about puppies and kittens, the next second they're talking about how it's okay to. If you're a boy and you want to be a girl, just go to this doctor. And then she starts asking me questions like, "Dada," you know, it's crazy. And I feel like that's why they do it. Most people, like every restaurant you go to, it's the local news, or they just play it over and over. It's football or some, and you see the commercials on TV. Every other commercial is a damn pharmaceutical drug or some kid with cancer, or some puppy that's got like fake blood on it. And they're like, it's like Sarah McLachlan singing you a pretty song, so you'll give her all your money. It's fucking bullshit, man. That's an easy fix, though. You just get a pair of tin snips. You go around and start cutting cable wires. I already did that here.
Yeah,
And
the
then you
more
feel
well,
better.
it's happening. Like I said, it's better that it happens grassroots and slow.
Well,
Because if
I'll tell
everybody
you,
woke up all at once,
it's like Tony's family.
it'd be crazy.
Everybody used to be so, like, I don't know, especially around here. There's a lot of older people, and they're all stuck in their ways. Even my dad now, I can talk to my dad about this stuff. He's he's still on the mindset of, "Ah, I think you're wrong." You know, he always says that at the end. But he'll talk about it. He doesn't get all bent out of shape and like, start.
Defensive. Yeah, he doesn't get all
Yeah,
defensive about it.
yeah. It's definitely more open now than it ever has been.
Hey, John Savage in the chat. Savage! What are you still doing
But
down
that you brought up a great subject, brother. But you know what? That's why alcohol came into the world.
Yep.
You know, the biggest thing pulls you away from who of your life. You know, it's amazing what it does to the brain and the body. You know, it's just crazy. It's just even lemon balm and a few other things like hemp. Why was it derived away from us? It's just amazing.
When our society was like found,
They totally work for the body.
yeah. But did you know acorns used to be a staple of the diet in North America? People, a lot of the natives of North America lived off of acorns. And nowadays, most people think acorns are poisonous and you
Which is,
can't eat them.
wow.
Yeah, and it's a great food source that just lays on the ground, and you know the squirrels grab some of it, but most of it gets worms get a lot of it. I use the acorns as part of my fertilizer. It's great stuff to have down in the soil, breaking out. Yeah, that's one thing I love teaching people is to recycle. Recycle everything in your yard. Like Adam was saying, so many people will bag up their leaves and put them in, you know, let the guy come and grab them and take them. I was like, that's the food for your plants right there. You bury that stuff, put some dirt over the top of it. The dirt will eat that stuff and turn it into some pretty much gold. As far as I'm concerned, I can do more with old leaves than I can with gold myself. I'm a little too scared to try to play alchemically with any type of metal. I've seen people do the silver. Have you done any of that, Anthony? Made any colloidal silver?
Yeah, a lot of clotted silver. I do that to change sexes of nature, just to bring on, yeah, and I want to share that too, you know, because I can change a hormone in a plant using silver. Silver's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, no, silver. Yeah, you got to bring it down when you do the process. Yeah, see, it's about see. I deal with a lot of. I love Russians. I love them. That's why I like Serge. I because they're so just. I wouldn't say arrogant. They're like a bulldog. When they grab on a bone, they do not let go of it. So I've been working with folks over a long time, and they've this one scientist has made this catalyst that has a special shape, and how can I put this? It changes water to be heavy, and this is where it comes to alchemy, because water is not what you think it is. You can change water by when you take it through its four phases. People think there's only three, and yeah, you can make water really heavy, and you can change water to do certain things. But the most important thing, it's when you make this catalyst. See, this person that did this, it does something else to many other things in nature. So just imagine what he created this heavy water for. He made this heavy water for doing something else, and I use what he created to change my alcohol for my extraction. I swear to God, I'm telling you, we've been lied to about shapes, properties, especially shapes.
There's power in shapes.
Oh, dude. I've got a little more test study to do. Once I found out a lot about what this has done, I would love people to just buy this, or make it. I'll even show you how to make it. you know, I'll just leave it at that. Man, I've got so much to share. We're gonna have a lot of fun, but this little shape, it changes the shit out of things. Anyway, so what I've been doing is, and you know what? I hope this gets out, that I've been putting this in a certain apparatus, and I'm passing cannabis and cannabinoids through this under -2 Higgs, which is like your way up there. You can't even hear sound in that depth. Wind. There's nothing. There's nothing in that depth. So when I take him, I'm passing cannabinoids through this catalyst, and it's doing something really interesting, man. So what is not what I thought. So that's why I'm saying everything's a lie. Whatever you do in alchemy, or if you know anything about depths of vacuum, be careful what you think, because you're the observer.
Yeah, test stuff out. That's the one thing I've learned with alchemy is, and listen to that little voice inside you.
Yeah.
That's an important part.
It is, brother.
The book told me to do it for 1 month, but you could do it longer, it said. And something inside me told me do it for 3 months. So I woke up every morning and
Beautiful, Zach.
Yeah, I just did it the way, the way like it told me to do it. I was listening to...
Thank you. And now you did not have a teacher. Your teacher was the unseen. You got to a point in between the magnet.
Wow, that's such a cool way to look at it.
And this is where common sense is, and this is what they're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, we're all born knowing these things.
Oh, you nailed it, dude.
Yeah, that is a great analogy.
You are born with it, mate. They try to spend the first 15 years to drive you.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've got it down to a science, too.
Yeah, dude.
Down to a science. I think it was, I forget the name. Maybe you could help me here, Travis. The Jesuit priest who said, give me the first 7 years of a child's life and I can give you a lifelong servant.
Yeah, that's
before the hemoglobin changes. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, memory in a cell. They know everything. They're not allowing us to know how the body reproduces itself over and over again. If you give it the right information through substance, and that you don't rely on 3 meals a day and watching porn and all that other bullshit. If you get rid of all that bullshit out of your life, eat when your body needs the nourishment and let it choose it through common sense and distilled water. It's all you need, man. And grow your garden and do your alchemy at home. And when you make it, make sure your hands plays in every part. And then you keep that medicine in your cabinet. Telling you, man, you're going to live to 150. I know it sounds totally stupid. People are doing it now.
120. I wanted to hit 120, but 150.
Yep. But with your concept of knowing who you are, I would never want to be at a certain age if I don't know my surroundings and seeing my many grandchildren. I want my faculties. I don't want to be pooping in my pants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I want my faculties. See, we've been so degraded as a species on what our body is. I mean, how long have they spent since the origins of the species driving this fucking narrative that where you came from a monkey? I mean, how derogatory are you going to give information to a system where you came from?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
what does that what does that do to your brain?
I know. I thought,
I'm a fucking monkey.
yeah,
No more monkeys jumping on the bed. You
I
know,
believed
what
it
the
for a
heck
long
is
time.
this?
That was
And
my belief.
my dad used to have a spider monkey before I was born. It would poop in its hand and throw it at people.
Yeah, I believed all that. I believed evolution. I believed in Big Bang without even giving it any thought. I was just, for some
Because
reason,
we trusted, Zach.
I know I didn't trust so much stuff, but for some reason, science, the word science blinded me. It
Yeah,
just,
strong word.
Me
yeah,
too.
it really, I just thought it was, set
Or
in
wear
stone.
a lab coat.
I had to join a cult for 10 years to break that narrative. You know, in isolation for 10 years. You know, to break that fucking narrative. I know I don't believe in anything now because I'm over that horizon, but you know, I put myself in that place and lock on the door.
Yeah, you have to. So many things have changed in the last 4 years for me. It's really hard to even remember who I was back then. These last 4 years, it seemed like I lived more in these last 4 years just by what I've learned than I can probably take a decade of years, maybe not all together added up, but at least a decade of years where I learned probably less than a quarter of what I've learned in just the last 4 years. It was like being a 4 year old kid again. Almost. It's hard to even remember who I was.
Same here, mate. I reckon, you know, it's funny you say that, brother. I reckon who I am as a person since I met you a year ago has even improved even more. I think there's this doubling effect, mate. Just let go.
Yeah, it's getting easier and easier to just be the person that you really are and not the person that you think, that you're supposed to be according to society and
That's
the
why they're
rules.
so scared of people like yourself, the common man, waking up. Because you make so much goddamn common fucking sense.
Yeah,
Telling you, common sense, Zach, that's what you have.
I think there's a lot of people out there with it. I think there's just a lot of people that are scared to use it. They're so worried about not being politically correct. I'm definitely the one at the family gatherings that's the not politically correct one. I'm just, I don't know. I don't think other people's feelings have any say over other people's rights. Um, them banning certain flowers to be grown in Chicago because certain people think they're ugly. I think that is getting way out of control and way out of line. And you would be amazed at people who will defend stuff like that. It's It's infuriating, really, when people want to base laws on their opinions. And it's starting to change. I mean, really, there's so many different things that are being attacked from so many different, I don't even want to, I mean, if attacked is the right word, but people are waking up to so many different fronts. There's not much, the whole chemtrail thing is weird because they're really keeping a lid on that one. But there's the vaccine thing. People are waking up to that. There's a lot more people I've noticed that are, and you're always going to have, you know, your sleepers, people who are never going to wake up until the television tells them that it's okay. But for the most part, people are waking up to a lot of different things that these people are doing. And that's what I think is so great about flat Earth. Just the idea, or just, you don't even have to say the words flat Earth because that is a trigger. Just saying that it's not a spinning ball.
It's not a ball. Thank
Yeah.
you. My children, that's all they say, Daddy. My children, all they say. The sun, Daddy, is love. And where I live is not a ball. They don't know what it is, but it ain't no ball. And the sun
That's
is
the
love.
best way to put it. The
And
sun is love.
the moon
Wow.
is a condenser of it. You know, a lot of twat is about where we live.
A lot, yeah.
A lot, yeah. I'm telling you, Zach, we're going to have so much fun on this discovery, mate, because you know what? Mate, I'm like my children. I'm like a 4-year-old. I can't go anywhere until I've undiscovered some of the discoveries that I've been lied to about.
Yeah,
I'm like a 4-year-old. Just woken up, man. And my parents have just told me the truth.
and like you said, you got another good 50 years easy. No problem. And I don't think there's much damage that you can do to the human body that the human body can't repair itself, if given the right tools to do so. I'm sure you've seen some amazing results with what you're doing out there, Anthony, with what the human body is actually capable of. When modern medicine of today will tell you that, oh, you're beyond help. We'll just make you comfortable now. And it's amazing what one man and a plant can do. And I take my hat off to you, man. Really, Anthony, the stuff that you've done. I hope to be half the man you are one day. Really. That's not just blowing smoke. What you're doing is amazing, man. It really is.
But
I'm
you
just
know
honored
what,
to have
mate?
you here on my chat, really.
But you know what, dude? It's like, mate, how can I put this? You know, I'm frequency specific. You know, and this is what you got to understand, you know, about all these little groupings that are getting together. The ones that are not being foolish to themselves like those trolls. But truly, you, Zach, I am glad that this is going on. And I'm telling you, keep thinking about the future because it's about tonight. Like my children have heard all this for the last 2 hours to this, with intent. You know, they've told Daddy to stop swearing in it, but they're listening, and I'm just letting you know that's going on, and they can't stop it because everybody listening to this in the future from here on in, I'm telling you, it's going to make waves because, you know, common sense people
We lost you there, Anthony.
body. Yeah,
Sorry about that. We lost you there for a little bit. It was cut out.
Yeah, where are you?
I'm in Florida.
Where are you?
Oh.
Oh, I've got people on. Hang on, Baba.
I know how it is.
I've got like, hang on, darling.
I love hearing people interacting with their kids.
Yeah.
You hear the tenderness in their voice, just like you when you talk to Addie. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is definitely. It's like you were saying, the way they absorb stuff too. It's easy to talk to them, even if they're not really looking at you. You know, like when Addison kind of wanders off, you'll still talk to her.
Oh yeah.
Of course, she's still listening. That owl was just out here on the roof of the shop again.
Did it fly away?
I don't see it there anymore. But when I first came out here, he was sitting on the AC unit, and then he jumped up and went up on the roof for a second. I think it's cool, man.
I'll get a picture of him.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to get a good one because he's got those bright yellow eyes.
So where are you at right now, Trav?
I'm almost in Harrisburg, where my destination is. I got about 20 minutes left of driving, and hopefully they can get me unloaded. I'm trying to make it back in time for karaoke tonight. I've got some friends that go karaoke every Saturday night, and I keep missing it. I was hoping I was going to be able to get back in time tonight.
Are you planning on releasing anything new tonight? Recording anything new?
Well, I have not sung the Born to Scam song publicly yet as a flat smack. I did it in Denver, but that was amongst friends. So it hasn't been released in the public arena for a flat smack yet.
I was really impressed. Bruce like that. I mean, you got his voice down really well. I was shocked.
I don't think so, but I appreciate it. Thanks.
There's a lot of talent in this community too. That's another thing. We were saying earlier about Issa.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
I couldn't believe Saturday night at the bar. Adam, I know you left early, but I couldn't believe how many good singers there were.
I was surprised too, yeah.
It just blew my mind. Some of the stuff I was hearing, I was just like, wow. Even though white guy rapping sounded good.
You talking about ODD?
No. He went up and did one song. It was his own song.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about, yeah. I was sad I had to leave because I had to fly out the next day early.
Yeah. MIDI HC does a lot of good stuff too. Check him out.
Yeah, I've used some of his tunes for some of my star footage and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool the way he puts the beats together, and he just kind of, he does like he doesn't really go in and like try and rap. He just says it how he,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. He just says it the way it is. I like it though. It's good style. It's his own style. He's not like anybody else, that's for sure.
I'll tell you what, I've been loving having my guitar back.
Yeah, me too. It's nice. It's nice. Let's sit there and strum that thing, and I get sick of the same music over and over and over too. Like, you can only play so much on YouTube Music or Pandora. It's nice having that live music.
Yeah, it's fun. I put medium strings on there though, and I wasn't quite ready for that yet. I am now. My fingers are a lot. They thickened up, but it took a couple days. My fingers hurt good for a couple days.
Yeah, it sounds really, really, really smooth. Like, I wish I could get that clean noise out of my speakers, you know? You just can't. I don't think, is that, like, what's the best speaker there is? Is it Bose?
I don't know. I don't want to. I have no idea.
Yeah. Because I used to be all into that shit when I was younger. And there's just nothing like being right there in front of the guitar, or in front of the drum set. Like, you can feel it, you know? I
Oh
don't know how
yeah.
to explain it.
I used to love standing in front of my buddy's drum set, and he had the 2-pedal bass,
Oh, yeah.
and he'd get that thing going hard. And like you said, you could feel it. He was probably the most amazing musician I've ever met. I met some pretty talented people.
Well, even when you're just sitting there lightly strumming on the guitar, you can still feel it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's like a soothing. Just feels right. I don't know. It's good stuff.
Yeah. We could teach you. Within a month, I could have you playing a song, I bet. No problem. Confidently.
What I need to do is get a guitar so we can both sit there and play. You can show me and I can follow your lead.
At first, it's pretty much practice, practice, practice.
Just pluck
Building
at
up
it.
your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pure repetition.
Muscle memory.
Yep.
And then once you have all that down, that's when you can start putting your soul into it a little bit. Oh, it's not that hard. That flat world logic playing guitar. It's
Well, listen, I cannot improvise worth a lick. I've been playing since '92, and I can still just only sight read and just strum people's music that already exists. I cannot improvise whatsoever.
no creating.
Nope. Nope. Like, if you said, "Hey, come on over and jam," I'd be like, no, you don't want me to do that.
Yeah, I'm not a soloist by any means at all. I play a little bit, mess around a little bit down the neck, but as far as like improvising, just jumping up and be like, hey, okay, I don't do that either.
I mean, I just would have no idea where to go. No idea.
Yeah, same here.
What would follow next, where the transition would be, and what chord, and blah, blah, blah. No way.
Oh yeah, I'd look at his fingers and figure out the chords, and I could follow along and play with him. But I couldn't like solo to it. I couldn't go up there and all that kind of stuff. I don't. I never wanted to be that good. Yeah, it's. I mean, you learn 4 or 5 chords, and you know hundreds of songs. You learn your C, G, D, F, and your A minor, and then of course the E minor comes right along with that one. You learn those 6 chords, and you could play hundreds of songs right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I can do that as long as the songs already exist.
Yeah, yeah. I've made up some of my own stuff. Um, that was always from right from the beginning, because I didn't like learning other people's stuff. And I mean, it's about impossible to make up music anymore. But you can put your own little ditty into it, you know. But as far as chords and chord progressions and stuff like that, I mean, it's all been done. One way or another, somebody's done it. You can change the words around, you can change the rhythm a little bit and how you strum it, but I don't think you're going to find a way to play a set of chords that hasn't been played before. I just don't see that happening. I think somebody tried suing Led Zeppelin, and they went back and said, nope, you didn't write this. It was some 14th century Italian poet, this or that, yada, yada, yada. Here's his sheet work or whatever. Here's the. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, most music has been done. It's hard to.
Hey, I'm gonna have to mute out for a little bit.
Yep.
I'll be back.
How we doing, Flatten Earth?
See you in the chat.
Yeah.
I sent you another link if you wanted to try to see if you could play that song through Spotify. I don't know if Spotify is.
Let me see. Boop, 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 boop.
People in the chat are like, dude, Travis is not letting this go.
Try to play this. No, that's the old song, right? The game.
Yeah, but that should be the newest link. Should be with Spotify.
No, this was Apple iTunes.
Are you in the chat?
Oh, there we go. I see it. Okay. Spotify web player.
Yeah, so while you're messing around with that, one of the things that I was thinking about when Anthony was talking and you were talking, my grandfather just passed away back in April, and he's got a little bit of land, just a little bit under an acre in Southern California, and my mom's taking care of my grandmother, and they're both getting along in age, and they're wanting to move out of that property. And I was just thinking that I would love to figure out how to turn that property into revenue somehow. And I wonder if hemp would be the viable option. You know, it grows so quickly, and I don't know. Just something I was thinking about while you guys were talking.
Yeah, that guy Anthony, THC Anthony, he'd be the one to talk to about that for sure. But no, it's now that they legalized it, hopefully there's going to be all kinds of stuff starting back up in this country again. We can make so much stuff out of it. It's okay. That one took me back to that same album. Is this new song off of that album, the Spotify one?
Well, it should be the same. Should be the same song, the game, but
Take care, Mr. Savage. My
so
friend.
so the text that I sent you is right below the chemtrail picture that I sent, right?
Yeah, Spotify for the song.
Right. So I haven't clicked the link because I have it on Spotify itself, so I don't really click the links.
Yeah, it took me back to that same album.
Well, that's okay. But did it take you back through iTunes or through Spotify?
No, through Spotify.
Okay, well then just look for the song in the album.
Same song? Yeah.
The game.
And they have Issa's Smoke One For Me.
Uh-huh. And they have Conspiracy Music Guru in there.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, it wants me to sign up. Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to sign up. I just want to hear the song. They're not giving me that as one of the options.
I'll give you my sign-in information, but I don't even remember what it is.
Yeah, no worries. I know, I wish I could play songs. Have you heard, I'm sure you have 1,000 times, but the song Behind Blue Eyes?
Oh, yeah.
See, you know, it'd be cool. I should just be able to bring up the words and go over them instead of having the spell fully activated, as you would say. But just understanding what the words are and looking at it through different meanings. That song Behind Blue Eyes. Imagine that. Have we talked about this?
I don't think so.
But that song, imagine. Okay, what does the song mean to you? Behind Blue Eyes.
I would have to think about it. It's been a while since I've heard it, but no one knows what it's like. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I've never thought about analyzing it.
Now think about it as growing up in one of these secret society families. And that's you. No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man, behind blue eyes. There's something to do with the blue-eyed people. And then the next line says it all. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded, to telling only lies. You know, their whole life they're told they're not allowed to tell the truth that they know. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be.
I mean, just think about these guys. I mean, they were in their early 20s.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they even wrote these songs.
I know. I'm just going to say, where did they get this? Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. You know, for real. That's some deep words right there.
Yeah. I mean, all this stuff. I mean, Crow blew my mind when I was interviewing him, because I mentioned David Grohl, and he was like, well, you know, his dad was a major speechwriter for X, Y, and Z, and, you know, so he just made this link with David Grohl to being an insider, you know, and you think back to the early 90s when Nirvana came out, and then you just kind of think, okay, now, you know, really, You have all of these major stars dying at the age of 27. You know, really?
Lots of them. Who was it?
27.
Janis,
Hendrix,
Jimmy.
Janis Joplin, yeah, Hendrix, Morrison, uh, River Phoenix, you know, and then Cobain and Amy Winehouse. I mean, come on.
It's weird. How old was James Dean?
James Dean was 23, 24.
23,
He was
24.
young. That was crazy shit, man. He was absolutely phenomenal. Just, I remember 10, 12 years ago, maybe even longer than that, when I first started getting into James Dean and Marlon Brando. Those guys were just absolutely phenomenal. When you see, you know, James Franco actually did a James Dean movie where he played Dean, and I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. But if you ever spend some time just doing a little bit of research and watching and learning what James Dean did, especially in the movie East of Eden, where he improvises in this one scene that it wasn't in the script, but he just went in that direction. Oh man,
Hmm.
you just sit there and think, where did that come from? But that's a completely different road that you were talking about. But anyway, that's where I'm at. But yeah, I mean, just that all of that music back in the 60s and the messages that were there.
Yeah, I don't think there was. And I've heard, have you ever heard of Mark Devlin?
Yeah, that was a fantastic episode. Both Crow and you guys had him on. Yeah, I wanted.
Yeah, I didn't know Bob Marley's dad was military or whatnot, and
Yeah.
I knew about Jim Morrison's dad. I didn't know that he was the admiral that started the Gulf of Tonkin
Right.
thing and all that. Yeah, it's wild. It really is. Reality is crazier than any fiction that they could write.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's the same thing with Stephen Stills from Crosby, Stills and Nash. He's a military brat down in South America. I mean, you just think about it. All these guys were just phenomenal musicians. I mean, they're in their own right. Stephen Stills was pretty amazing. I encourage you, if you have the time, to read Springsteen's biography, his autobiography. John Fogerty. I think John Fogerty was amazing, just absolutely amazing. And then Pete Townsend. Those guys, I think, were the Mozart. They were on the level of Mozart and all of those other composers. They were just absolutely on fire. Amazing musicians.
Yeah, I wish I could have had the chance to hear Mozart. Like, you know, Jimi Hendrix is gone and dead, but we can still hear Jimi Hendrix play a guitar today. And nobody does it like Jimmy, you know? I've heard people come close. Stevie Ray Vaughan came close on a couple songs. Clapton came kind of close. Prince even came close, but nobody that I've ever heard could play the guitar like Jimmy. Now, could you imagine what Mozart sounded like, or Beethoven, or Bach, compared to the people that are playing their stuff today? Or Chopin, some of the crazy stuff that guy came up with? it's a shame that we don't ever get to hear these composers play their own music. There's been a lot of amazing human beings throughout time. So we've been told, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was trying to get my truck in through a gate.
Who would you go have lunch with, or just a nice stroll through a forest? Who would you choose to go on a walk with if you could choose
Myself,
anybody?
24 years ago.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Seriously.
Yeah, no doubt. But besides that, you had to
Yeah,
pick somebody else.
oh man, I don't even know. That's so. Oh, I mean, off the top of my head, Stephen Stills, uh, Neil Young, just any one of those guys that were just, yeah.
What about Tesla?
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, off the top of my head, that was the first thing that came to my mind. But sure, yeah, Tesla would be one for sure. Who else? I mean, Hitler. That would be an interesting dinner conversation.
Yeah, that
I
was,
mean, seriously,
yeah,
if
for
we go
real.
on the premise that nothing that we were told is accurate,
Exactly.
I mean,
Or even opposite.
even to just consider the battle in Danzig. If you ask most people why Hitler invaded Poland, they're going to tell you that he took the closest opportunity for him to start his tyrannical taking over the world. But does anybody know about the alternative explanation for why he invaded Poland? Do you know what it is?
No.
The Poles were mass murdering Germans that were behind the Polish lines because of the Treaty of Versailles. Was it the Treaty of Versailles in World War II or World War One? Is that what it was?
I think so.
It was the Treaty of Versailles had chopped up German territories, and some of the territories in Poland were just over the border, and the Poles were mass murdering the Germans. And so Hitler went in and invaded, and the battle was over in a couple of days. That's all it was. So he went in not to conquer the world. He went in because the German people were being it was genocide.
Yeah, well, what do they say? History is written by the winners, pretty
Right,
much.
right, yeah. So then you've got all those alternate stories, and the source for our information on the concentration camps were the Russians. The Russians were the ones telling us what the concentration camps were and what they looked like and what they were for. So we were being given information from. I mean, if you know anything about the Red Army, right?
Yeah.
But what was I going to say was, yeah, I mean, if you know anything about what the Allied forces did to Germany after Germany surrendered for 2 years, and the carpet bombing that happened in the last 2 years of the war. I mean, the Allied forces absolutely destroyed German towns that were not a part of the campaign. They just carpet bombed it and then turned it into it. There's a book available. It's called Hellstorm. I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah, there are no winners in war except for the people selling the weapons. It's really crazy the amount of just even London, England, or just England alone, and France and Germany and many parts of Russia were just totally annihilated, like removed from the map, pretty much like a tornado came through.
Yeah.
Japan. Just, I don't know. It's hard to imagine
Well, one of the things
destroying that much stuff.
one of the things that I came across in just looking at alternative World War II narratives was that wasn't Roosevelt? Was it? No, it was Truman. Or no, it was one of the generals. Was it Eisenhower? So instead of calling them prisoners of war, because if they were prisoners of war, they had to be treated with it had to be treated humanely, and so he then just simply called them something else, like enemy force, enemy disarmed enemy something or other. So basically, to get around the fact that he had to feed them and treat them medically and keep them healthy, he just simply labeled them something else and said, well, you're not a prisoner of war, so you don't get this benefit. And so you had millions of millions of German prisoners of war, malnourished and dying. And we don't know about that. And that was
They barely even talk about the Japanese internment camps that we had here in the U.S.
Right. Yeah. And we're bitching and complaining about Trump. People have no clue. They have absolutely no clue.
No, I see the way I see politics is it's a distraction to keep us from looking at what's really happening and pretty much dividing us into a red or a blue person. And these are your two choices. Yeah, I think, who was it? Thomas Jefferson said a two-party system is the beginning of an end of a free and open society, or something. I forget. Or is even worse than having a king, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that quote.
I'm not sure. How much longer do you have on the road tonight?
Well, I just backed into my stop in Harrisburg, so as soon as they get me unloaded here, which hopefully will be soon, I've got to find my paperwork. I don't see it. I've got 2 hours back to the yard, so I'm going to mute out because I've got to find this paperwork to get inside the warehouse. So I'll be back.
All right, I'm probably going to stop broadcasting before you get back, but I'll still be in the hangout.
Okay.
But everybody, thank you so much. It's been about 3.5 hours. I think I'm going to cut it right around here. First hangout didn't go too bad. Yeah. Deserve and shall receive neither. Exactly, flat plane. Oregon. No worries, Ginger. Yeah, that's the thing about the whole political system that drives me insane. Is it doesn't matter if it's a Democrat or Republican. Neither of them have ever been out for, our interests, even though they both, kind of claim to be. Next hangout, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Depends on whether or not this dump that I'm going to be removing is too much of a pain or not. So we'll see. We have some time on it. I'm not sure. This is my first one that I've done like this. This was fun though. Let's thank Travis or the Plain Truth for joining in. THC Anthony. That was awesome. Thank you for joining in, brother. And Adam. A. McKenzie. We're going to be seeing some more of him. Yeah, I'll be having another hangout. It'll be shortly. It'll be within the week for sure. Marathon hangout. Not tonight. I just didn't prepare myself for it. If I do something like that, it'll start earlier for sure. But yeah, thank you all for joining in chat. This was a lot of fun. Plan on having a lot more. I'll start opening up to a few more people too, if you want to join in. This was just, kind of the opening act, I guess, to this next step. But thank you all for joining me. This was awesome. Gav, I'll see if I can. Yeah, he's pretty busy, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah, he's a lot of fun. I learn a lot from Gav. But Anthony, anytime, brother, please. Love having you on. Yep, having dinner with the children. You're a blessed man. One of my heroes for sure, right there, folks. THC Anthony, check him out. Click on his. It's so hard to find his, because the information he's sharing is so important that you can try and type in his name, just THC, and then just type Anthony without the little gap between the A and the N, and you'll see how they are blocking him so bad. It's a shame. But yeah, so click on his little icon there and go to his channel, and he'll teach you how to make your own medicine yourself. It's amazing stuff that we all should know for sure. Ginger, TEDxSugarbush905@gmail.com, no space. Let me I'm gonna put that in my phone right now before I jump off here, so I don't forget it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. We're definitely going to do this a lot more. I thought it was a little more complicated than this. I won't be having any debates or anything like that. Not opening up to speak with trolls or anything like that. Yeah, that's not what this is about. This is about sharing ideas and information and just having good conversations about what we're going to do next and how we're going to do it. Stuff like that. I might just go my second hangout, my third hangout, my fourth hangout. I don't know how I'm going to do this. But it's pretty easy, and we're going to be doing a lot more of it. So again, thank you all for joining me. This was fun, and we're going to be doing it again soon. So this is Good Times for All signing out. As always, thanks for watching.